Here.
Here. Steve. Here. Jen. Here. Katie.
Here.
Oh, we normally have audience comments, but if everyone's fine with it, I wouldn't mind having the social district presentation go first, so we can have audience comments after. Is everyone fine with that? Are you ready to go?
Yeah, so I just want to turn the TV on. Arthur, are you ready to go, Jenny?
I'm ready. Let's go. Get that the TV fired up.
Should we get people out there to be able to see?
They have them downstairs.
Or chairs or something?
Come on in, people.
We're good. There's chairs right there also.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at it.
Can you turn the TV on?
Yeah.
Can you turn the TV on? I don't know. Anybody know what's that? There's a button somewhere.
There's a remote. Is it in the windowsill?
It's right by your name, Bob. Oh, no. Yeah, it is.
Here.
There. And then you're gonna change it to the HD.
Thank you. Look at that. I'll just say.
There's information of what we're gonna go over.
Thank you. Good to go? Sure. All right. Well, no matter where I stand, my back's going to be to somebody, so I apologize in advance. But my name's Arthur Havlicek. I'm the president and CEO of the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber of Commerce. We service this area and represent a lot of the businesses. Jenny Leach here is the CGA director. She's the director for this specific footprint, which we cover Baroda, Berrien Springs, and Eau Claire. And one of the things we wanted to pitch to the village was the formation of a social district. So this has been talked about a little bit, so you can advance. I wanted to just go through a couple of these slides so that we have an understanding of some of the key terms and some of what we're talking about. So a social district is a designated zone where patrons can purchase alcoholic beverages from licensed bars and restaurants and carry them basically out in the open into a designated area, right? Key term is a designated area. So the social district itself is the zone that a municipality approves for this. A commons area essentially that's the legal definition. It needs to be contiguous to 2 licensed establishments. Qualified licensees include bars, restaurants, brew pubs. They have to have a liquor license. And then I'll talk about a management plan a lot, but that's the operating framework for how a social district is laid out, how it's ran, how the signage works, and so on and so forth. So back in 2020 is when social districts were first approved. It was a mechanism during COVID when we were under restrictions for how many people could dine and drink indoors to allow for outdoor seating and outdoor consumption, basically. So Governor Whitmer passed it in 2020 and then eventually made it permanent. Since then, 122 districts have been approved across the state, anywhere from super small villages to large cities. In Berrien County, there are 7 communities right now with social districts already established, 3 in Van Buren County.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I pause?
Yep.
Can everybody shuffle in behind Steve, behind those tables and Jack, so that the people in the hallway can come in and hear and see? Just keep working your way down, maybe? Thank you.
Let me know
Sorry
if
to
I need
interrupt.
No,
I
you're
just want to
fine.
make sure everybody can hear you.
And let me know if I'm going too fast or I'm speaking if I need to speak up, so you can advance.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. So there's a lot that kind of governs how these work, and for municipalities, it's an established protocol on how to establish one. So the village would designate the district, you determine what the map looks like, and making sure that there are at least 2 licensees, which would coincide with the state law. That map gets diagrammed out with the boundaries, the common areas, and then the names and addresses of the licensees. We create a management plan, which again is that governing document, very important, all the rules and restrictions. And then we file all that with the MLCC, the Michigan Liquor Control Commission. The Michigan Liquor Control Commission then basically approves the district, after which licensees can actually apply to be part of it. So I'm gonna pause here, there's a lot more, but I'm gonna pause so this process makes sense. So the village gets to determine basically the boundaries, and all the rules that go along with it, and then they submit that to the state for the state to give the green light. And then the next part of the process starts. So, once the social district has been approved by the state, licensees apply to be part of it. First, the licensee has to gain local approval, so the licensees would come before this group and ask for permission to participate in the social district. That gives you a measure of control over the situation. They then also apply to the MLCC, who then reviews based on their violation history. They want good operators and good actors to participate in this, and then if they're approved, they will be able to sell beverages on premise and have patrons carry them out into the social district. So there are a lot of rules in the state law that, or I should say the state law really governs a lot of this and what you can and can't do. So container requirements, for example, have to be 16 ounces. They must display the licensee's business name or logo. There must be a sticker and a date so that we can keep track of consumption. Glass-free, they have to be plastic. That's a safety issue. They have to be single-use. They can't be refilled. Patron and licensees, the beverages can only be sold on the licensed premises. No sales occur in the common area. Beverages have to stay within the boundaries, so the boundaries have to be clearly marked. You can't carry a drink into another licensee's premise. And all public intoxication laws that currently exist still exist in full force and effect. So a lot of rules around this, but a lot of common sense stuff. The management agreement is something I want to key in for today's purpose. Again, that really is the governing document that this body approves in order to establish this. You set the district boundaries where you can have that map clearly define the areas that folks will be able to carry their drinks. You can require signage and barriers to make sure folks aren't going outside of where these boundaries that are designated are. Cleanup and maintenance, so you'd set a schedule to make sure that the district stays clean. In all the other districts that have been approved, there's really no litter or waste or trash accumulation. There's usually receptacles, and there's some pretty much on every single block, like 2 per block here, so I don't think that'll be an issue. Hours and days, so you can set the operating hours, again, the container standards, and then there are a couple events in town, and so the village can also either suspend the social district when there's a coinciding event, because you can't have overlapping licenses, or you can choose to have the social district stay in effect and have that be a way to get the participating businesses a little more revenue during those events. Sorry, I went back to you guys so often. Next one. So again, even more, safety and access. Nothing can block pedestrians, so none of the boundaries. You got to keep the roads open, things like that. Sight lines. If there are any, say there's an event and there's like structures or amenities, we've had fire pits in other social districts, or tents. Bridgman had an igloo at one point, a pretty big igloo. All that has to be approved by the council, so you can't just have things popping up. It's all approved by you guys. Liability insurance, important, so each participating licensee adds the village as an additional insured. So all of the liability is on the licensee for participating in this. And then everything is really done in coordination with police and fire here. So they, I would highly recommend setting the hours of the district based on their recommendation and maybe what their rotation is, so that they're not going out of their way and making sure that things are tight. Everything gets communicated back to the licensees, who are really the on the ground police of this. All the rules and liability that they face on a daily basis would just be extended to outside their boundaries as well. And then, of course, if anything ever were to threaten, the health and well-being of the community, the village can just revoke this with one meeting, just like that. Just to give folks an idea on how it works in some of these other communities. So like I said, there are 7 approved in Berrien County alone. You can see they're kind of varying hours of operation based on what works for them. Most of them are 7 days a week, with the exception of the city of Watervliet. And then, while it requires there to be 2 licensees contiguous to one of these districts, it doesn't require that 2 licensees participate. In fact, you can have a social district and not have any businesses participating conceivably. So Watervliet, you've got 1, St. Joe, you've got 11, and there's a variety in between. It really just depends on the community, their needs, and then what the licensees want to do. You can also see some of the different crazy shapes that these make up, again, based on what the community wants. So some of them are a little more contiguous there, like Benton Harbor and Bridgman. You get stretched out a little bit in Stevensville when you're trying to make sure you're accommodating a few more licensees or getting into some common areas. Watervliet is a very, very long and narrow one that doesn't really meander too much, but that allows any licensee in that area to participate. The big thing is, in all of these spaces, they're trying to capture the retail district as well, because you can carry an open container into a retail store if the retail store allows it. So there's signage requirements. A retailer can say, we welcome social district open beverages, or we don't allow them. It's a way to increase foot traffic, which we'll get to. So if we think about Baroda, it's probably going to look a little similarly to that Watervliet district, where it's going to be a really long district right downtown here. There's, I believe, 6 licensees, qualified licensees. TJ's Baroda Tap, Golden Muse Winery, Baroda Founders, Connie's, Chill Hill, and Round Barn. So part of why we want to stretch it is so that we capture some of those on the north end there, and then we go all the way down to Round Barn so that everyone's got an opportunity to participate. All of these licensees have been asked and are supportive of this and are, I believe, willing to participate. We didn't really incorporate any other areas or get into the residential at all with this, but this will allow folks to basically walk up and down the town here and loop back pretty contained. And then just so folks have an idea on signage, so again, signage is something that's required. The cups need to have specific stickers on them. Those stickers need to have the date and the time that the cup was poured. There's going to be rules that we can put on sandwich boards and have those out throughout the town. Usually the licensee would be or take custody of one of those sandwich boards, bring them out during hours of operation, take it in when the district is no longer operating. And then if you're a retailer, you can have, again, signage saying cups allowed or no cups allowed. So that little photo there in the bottom left is hard to see, but you can see kind of the 2 examples, thank you, of stickers for that. I used AI for that, not bad. So the most common thing we hear is, all right, we're worried about public intoxication, worried about litter, and is there going to be glass everywhere? Minors, the kids are going to be drinking in the streets again. It's going to be terrible. Folks are going to be overserved. It's going to be a huge nuisance, right? Those are kind of the common things that we hear, the common concerns, understandable. Again, all public intoxication laws still apply. It's no different than it is today. You cannot be over intoxicated in public. plastic cups, single use, trash cans strategically dispersed. So that eliminates any glass, really any litter. If you've been to St. Joe or Benton Harbor or Waterville Leeds or Bridgman or any of these others, you're not finding social district cups all over the streets. If you go there, you can verify that for yourself. Minors and over service, so again, understandable concern, but the licensee, that's where the onus is. So they ID folks still, that's no different. They make sure that they're not over serving, no different than they would if the person was having a drink and sitting at the bar. They're trained to spot these things. Their liquor license depends on their ability to spot these things. Okay, if you take a cup from one place and you get 3 at TJ's and then you go down to Round Barn, how's Round Barn gonna know? Round Barn knows because they're trained to know, because it's no different than if I'm saddled up at the bar at TJ's and then I go to Round Barn as if I am walking around with a cup. It's really no different. They're trained to catch this stuff. And if for some reason Baroda's the exception to the rule out of all 122 communities, and it becomes so much of a nuisance, again, village council can revoke it just like that. Total control. Important to note too, on that previous slide, I don't want to gloss over it, but we've been part of establishing 4 of the 7 social districts in Berrien County and have advised on a couple others. When we first went down this, I think 2021 was probably the first one that we worked on.
Yep.
I had actually had some of the same concerns, so I called around the state. At that time, there were like 20 social districts in the state, and I actually called in and spoke with the police chiefs in a lot of those places, and to a T, every single one of them said, we've had absolutely no issues. And so prior to putting this presentation together, Sarah had emailed the city of St. Joe, which again has a large district, 11 licensees. It's been operating for 3 years. Steve Newbecker's the chief there, said no issues, not a single issue in 3 years running. We asked Chief Unruh and Bridgman, same thing, no issues. These are remarkably safe. Folks will they'll get a drink, they'll stand outside, they'll wait for their spot at the restaurant. They might wander into a local shop, they might go to the next place. If you advance the slide, really it's a way to increase revenue for the participating businesses. We want quality amenities like Baroda has. Baroda's blessed to have this many qualified licensees. Again, if you think of that list of some of the other places, they're not fortunate to even have enough to have critical mass to make a social district worth it. Baroda does. Increased foot traffic, so this is going to be super creepy for everybody. We have data that can ping cell phones and tell how many people come downtown, right? You're being tracked, everyone's being tracked, not by me, we're just using the data. But these increase foot traffic, so they bring more people downtown, more activity, and then folks who come downtown stay downtown more often, or longer I should say, so that dwell time increases, which boosts sales, not just for the places selling these drinks, but for non-alcohol related establishments as well. And overall, that sort of supportive environment really has made it easier for us to go and try to sell new businesses or prospective businesses and investors on a community who want to come into a place that's a little forward thinking and is willing to invest in their community, into placemaking, and they're willing to open up shop, again, whether they're a restaurant, a bar, or another gallery, doesn't matter. They kind of see this and they like it and they want to be where there's going to be that type of vitality. So I zipped through that really, really fast. In your folders, there are examples on the left side, so you'll see a fact sheet from the Michigan Municipal League with some of the rules that I talked about, so you can see I'm not making anything up. In that packet, there are examples from some other communities on resolutions, management agreements, district maps. we took the liberty of drafting, and I emphasize the word draft, a management agreement based on plans we've done for other communities. So that's in here as well, along with the map that you saw on the screen. All this can be changed based on the specific preferences of the village. You guys have total control over what this thing looks like. Our goal at the chamber and on behalf of the businesses that support this would be to get your blessing basically to proceed in drafting the actual resolution and management agreement and map and refining some of these rules, working with public safety to make sure that they're on board with the whole thing, and then putting this before you again for formal approval. So right now it's just permission to proceed, no specifics being agreed to. Happy to answer questions though, as best as I can.
Does it cost the businesses that want to participate anything to apply?
It does. Sarah, if you can zip back a couple of slides near the beginning to the, keep going, right there.
$320.
Yep, 300 and one more, Sarah. Two more, one more, keep going.
It's all the way back to the beginning.
Other direction. So $70 inspection fee, $250
Okay.
permit fee. And that's on the licensee. If they want to participate, that's on them. There's gonna be a cost for cups, so one of the things that we'll have to figure out is, uniform cups and stickers, who's gonna coordinate the purchasing of those. This is a minimal cost. It's just a matter of where some of this revenue is coming from. The businesses will usually bake in the cost of the cups a little bit. That's one way to do it. Sometimes where there's like a DDA or a corridor improvement authority, they might sponsor some of this stuff. So there are different ways to make it possible, but minimal cost involved. Most of them are upfront costs, and then most of it's on the business that wants to participate.
Okay, because here it says participating licensee must purchase their containers from the village of Baroda, so then do we,
Language from other plans, so
okay,
the village can be the ones that bulk purchase the cups, if you so choose. One of the licensees could also be designated as the bulk purchaser of the cups, and then could coordinate with all the other licensees and keep the village completely out of it.
okay.
Or can just each business.
Each business could also do it. We want uniform stickers though, so if I'm putting my law enforcement hat on, I wanna be able to immediately see a clear plastic cup, 16 ounces, and the same exact sticker. So there's an element of coordination that we want, that makes this a nice and tight and safe
Right,
district.
because like TJ's or Public House is probably gonna have more volume just based on
Sure.
their business than Golden Musical.
Right,
So they can kind of flex
Yep.
how much they wanna buy on their own.
yep, and we can work some of this stuff out with the licensees, and see how they wanna handle it. It works differently in different communities, and we're happy to play whatever role we need to make it happen. I wanna make sure I get to any questions here, and then I'm happy to answer questions from the group.
Okay, have us go first. Any council members have questions? None.
I asked mine.
Audience comments?
She had her hand up for overview.
Thank you. I noticed there's somebody missing. What about the Legion? If we can't assume that people aren't going to think they're part of the social district, because it is the Legion, they have, their liquor there, and we've seen, and I'm gonna say up front, I'm for it. I think it's a
Sure.
great thing.
Yep.
But people at family reunions there, whatever, they come out with their drink, and what's to make them think how close they are to that?
Yep.
We're part of it.
Yep, great point. So my understanding is the Legion has at least had some outreach over this? Yes?
Yes, we reached out, they have not gotten back with us, so that's just why they weren't put in the presentation.
What was that?
So they've been asked to
Okay.
participate. They haven't responded yet, so it's
Okay.
not a yes or a no. the district I can just extend the map and include them,
Okay.
they're eligible. I
Like I
think
say,
it
I'm
makes
thinking of the
sense.
customers too. you
Yeah,
know, they're-
absolutely.
Especially after having a few at a family reunion, you know.
Yeah. No,
Let's just wander down to the social district.
It's an excellent point, and when we think about these boundaries, we wanna keep the end user in mind, because if you start, you gotta kinda go with the flow of the town, and it keeps going to the Legion, and so I think it makes sense to include them as well. Without their buy-in, I didn't wanna put them on the map and seem like we're committing them to anything though. Easy amendment to make.
For the prices that you had on there, is that like a one and done, or is that each year you have to renew and pay the fee?
I believe it's a one and done.
Okay, but yeah, I think it's just like any other liquor license, it's a one and done.
Each year, there's another fee in your license that goes, you have to pay. Now that inspection fee, that's a one and done. But there's a fee every year when you renew your license.
Can you just state which organization you're from so people can identify?
Oh, I'm Chill Hill.
I'm TJ's.
I'm Baroda Founders, and we are in the St. Joe district also, so,
Any issues there?
no. And we all do our own cups, but we have the same social district sticker that goes on it. But St. Joe today also has given us the PDF, so we can actually just have that social district sticker printed on the
On
cup.
the cup itself. Yep.
Hi, I'm from Connie's place in Baroda. We already buy our cups in bulk, so like, that's definitely an easy thing. But my investigation with the liquor commission is that we do pay the $70 inspection fee. And then each year there is a minimal amount to renew it. It's based off of what our liquor license guidelines already are in place. Like, so if we have Sunday sales or we have after hour dance sales, et cetera, then they base it off of that. But it is very minimal as a renewal each year. In my opinion, as a bartender in Baroda, not only at Connie's, but I've been a bartender in Baroda since 2021. I started at the original Baroda Tap with Jim Dembski. This situation actually eliminates a lot of problems because as a bartender, we're already monitoring and determining whether or not somebody's going outside our door with a glass. This actually alleviates frustrated alcoholic influenced customers from being frustrated that they are from another state and they don't know that in Michigan you can't take your glass outside, or all of the things with the tours that we have. Along with that, I stress to everyone, each and every person who will be serving alcohol in this community has to be a licensed professional, and they know what to look for. We're trained for that. We have to renew it, and there's actually insurance to protect us. So, as somebody who's worked at a local restaurant / bar, and then as everybody will refer to Connie's the local water and bartender, we have to regulate a lot. So we actually switched to plastic glasses around 10 o'clock on the weekends to eliminate our actual glasses going out and breaking somewhere when somebody sneaks out with it.
Yep, thank you. We hear that a lot too, folks. A lot of other states have allowed this for a really long time, you know, far before COVID was a thing. And they'll get to Southwest Michigan and, what do you mean I can't take my drink outside? You're in a different state, yeah, and smoke,
Yeah.
like, you're in Michigan.
They can get very aggressive.
Yeah, and they can get aggressive. So this, in a lot of places, this has eliminated a lot of that consternation.
So if municipalities are debating and putting these in, do the governing boards typically rely on the planning commission to help draw maps or zones, because you're talking maps and zones essentially, it sounds kind of planning commission related? Or is it?
They don't necessarily have to. A lot of times, again, it kind of depends on the community. One of the easiest and fastest for a lot of the larger communities is whatever the DEA district is, they usually are like, all right, that's the social district, and that way they keep the maps the same. Other times it's driven basically by how far do I have to stretch and basically gerrymander a district in order to get to that 2 licensee threshold. Here it's pretty,
Yeah,
I mean,
straightforward.
it's pretty literally straightforward. You know, you could certainly do more with it, but as a start, this is like it's a straight shot. It can go down to the Legion, and it incorporates everybody, stays out of the residential areas, stays out of the somewhat busier roads. It's hard to tell, but when I kind of drew it, I even drew it so that you're only crossing on the right-hand side there north of Lemon Creek Road to eliminate, I figure that might be a safety thing. So in addition to like sandwich boards at the licensees, what a lot of communities do is they'll just buy like decals that are weatherproof and just put the decal on the sidewalk so that all right, social district ends here basically. Here it's, again, you've got anchor licensees that are gonna kind of be that natural,
Endpoint.
yeah, endpoint, and then they're gonna be the ones really showing, all right, this is kind of this is where you stop. Yes, ma'am.
If I'm not wrong, when it was explained earlier, they said something about if I go to TJ's and get a drink, the bartender has to sign, and then if I go to Connie's, they have to sign. Is that how it's done every time they get a drink on their cup?
Yep, different cups though, so you can't refill the same cup.
Oh, okay.
But each cup, so you come in, you can't bring your cup into another licensed establishment. So the Liquor Control Commission is as stringent as it gets. You can't have overlapping licenses everywhere, right? So conceivably, this district touches think of it like the front door of some of these establishments, but not inside. So I can't take my cup and bring it into another establishment, then I'm in an overlapping sort of district, right? So I'd have to discard my cup and then go into Connie's,
Buy a new one?
buy a new cup.
Okay.
They fill out a new time and date. She's eyeballing them, making sure that they're, not overserved. Fill out that cup, that person leaves that establishment and maybe goes on to the next one. I don't know. But it's in the statute required time and date.
But they have to get a new glass every time they go. Liquor establishment.
So the village of Baroda would be, they would be the ones enforcing this though, and overlooking, we'd have to have a cop or something enforcing, they'd be responsible for the enforcement of all this and making sure that people don't break the rules. And are we able to even do that as a village? Do we have somebody here 7 days a week, that can look after that? But that's just something that I noticed, and then same with trash pickup, and then are there established zones at TJ's and stuff where people actually drink? Is it just so people can stand on the sidewalk and drink? Or is it, are they gonna have tables out there? Has any of this been established?
I'm gonna go in reverse order, so I can't speak to the zones around some of these. Really, if you're thinking about this, I would think this is allowing you to go up and down the sidewalks, basically, to get from one place to the next place. So it's more about traveling and less of I'm gonna, congregate in one spot. The most other communities, and I can't speak to how the village or how local law enforcement will handle it. Most of the other communities don't establish any additional control. They monitor it in the regular rounds, which they're basically doing anyway. When we go to set the hours and the dates, that's where I highly recommend we coordinate with law enforcement to see what they recommend so that we can align it with their existing rotation. So it's not any additional burden on folks. But I would defer to someone who knows more about that.
All right.
No.
No, that map, is it set in stone yet?
No,
Okay.
nothing's set in stone.
I don't see any place for families, kids, strollers, dogs, that they don't cross into the alcohol zone. There's nothing up to downtown. Just, so that's not in stone, that can be negotiated, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and these are very family-friendly districts, so you'll see, if you go to some of these other communities, you'll see parents come and they'll get a a cup. In a lot of these places, there are more of a sort of like a common area or a little park that's incorporated into these that allows folks to do this type of thing. Here, we didn't draw any of that in. There's not really a natural place for that to occur, so it's really just kind of the sidewalks, basically. Just because the road is in the blue doesn't mean that you can be walking with a drink in the road. So I want to make that perfectly clear. You gotta stay out of the road.
Will there be sidewalks then that connects TJ's all the way down to the American Legion Hall? Because there are sidewalks now that connect those.
Yeah, we're not proposing any infrastructure changes as part of this. That's not the price.
Big portion of this that doesn't have sidewalks.
Yeah, yeah.
We already have, I think, 1, 2, 3 that have outside areas. Why would you need the whole area? Just out of curiosity. Since they have a place to go outside and drink.
So, you're saying a couple of them have patios, basically?
Yeah, they do have outside sections.
They have cafes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah, a couple of them do. They're still able to use those. Some folks want to take their drink and go to the next place, though. So this just allows for that flexibility.
They'd have to drink awful fast. It's a small.
But then,
do we want to encourage that?
But then keep in mind, you know, if we want to see more commercial activity down here, we're trying to incentivize more places to invest and more stops for them to make along the way. Would be like an eventual goal of this thing. So we're not trying to keep them, you know, constrained to a patio. We want to encourage them to enjoy Baroda to come back
I
to
don't see how
Baroda.
that benefits the village.
So I have a great example. There's a lot of people that ask us, oh, what's cool to do around here? So they're like, oh, as soon as I have my glass of wine, they go to check out the Baroda Mill. So it's like, oh, there's a lot of knickknacks and candy. So this way, if that place is an approved spot, and they have the sticker on the door, you can take the glass of wine from Chill Hill, walk there, shop, like all the sidewalks aren't gonna be blocked off. Chill Hill, we don't have room, like the sidewalk, like you guys said, I have kids, bicycles, stuff like that. I know I'm approved for like 2 pots of flowers, I'm not doing that. But we will do the same. Connie's has like a cool spot in the back with picnic tables, so I don't think they'll do anything up front different.
So, I'm also a previous Village of Baroda board member. In the Village of Baroda, one of the reasons why this will be a benefit is the businesses that are in downtown Baroda. In order for us to apply for an outdoor liquor license, we have to come to the village and then we have to get the planning commission and everybody involved. Because there's requirements on how much footage of the sidewalk has to be available. So, for example, if TJ's wanted to add some outdoor tables, they have very limited restrictions on what they would be able to do. Even the local who does not serve liquor has very limited options as far as what they're able to offer. We have a picnic table out back, so one of the things that benefits us is, for example, Chill Hill has their live music events. There's been multiple times where I've walked outside to check and see what's going on, and I've got somebody that came from the village parking lot, parked there, and they're sitting on my picnic table and they're drinking beer. But they never came in and purchased it for my establishment. If they have the ability to come in and purchase the beer and take it outside, they're more apt to be actually spending money at the businesses. But the restrictions on where we can have outdoor seating and the amount of space that we can take up to not comply, so that we're not like abating the ADA requirements for how much space somebody could have and things like that, is very limited to all of the liquor license establishments throughout the whole village.
I think just in the essence of time, now that we've got 40 minutes into it, I think it's an excellent presentation. And I think I'd like to make a motion to proceed with the formation of the social district with a resolution and then a management plan to be adopted once it's created. But at least it gets everything.
Motion to develop a plan?
Yes.
Second motion. Was there any other audience comments? I think I saw 2 or 3 more hands.
I have one more motion.
Wait, I don't know the motion though. Can we motion and then do it?
We're still under audience discussion. Go ahead, real
Just
quick.
real quick, in response to your question, how will it help the village? What I see is more retail places could come in, and we have plenty of space in that zone, so people could come in and knick-knack shop, or gift shops, or something like, more like St. Joe that you have. I think the village is greatly lacking in a lot of retail space, and reasons to come, and I think that would be additional reasons to come, and bring families as well.
And I think it's appropriate, I mean, we have to remember that the six businesses that are requesting this plan to start to be developed also pay taxes here. And a lot of people are employed by these groups, by these businesses, and they might not necessarily be a village resident, but they employ village residents, and village residents also come to downtown to participate in these businesses. So I think it's an important investment in Baroda as we try to figure out how to redevelop the downtown area.
Was there one more?
I was thinking, like, I talked to a prominent person in the community the other day, and I asked him about the social district, and he knew nothing about this. And I mentioned the proposed length and distance, and his opinion was, if it involves the town square, the village should have a voice. They should have a say, not just a few, but it should probably go to more people. Let everybody have a voice and get the word out before any decisions are made. That's my opinion.
I think the motion on the table is just to develop the plan.
To develop a plan, is that, can you say that again, please, your motion?
With the formation of the social district, with the management plan to be presented.
Does that sound right?
Right, we're not authorizing the creation of a social district, only developing a plan for presentation to the board to be approved, potentially.
Right.
Yep. It's a long process.
With that real fast, what would you foresee, like, best case scenario, or reasonable?
How quick?
How long, I mean, could it be done by this summer, or?
Absolutely. So, in fact, it's in everyone's best interest, I think, to have it done by the start of this summer. The MLCC used to be pretty slow in approval. It's sped up, so if we're able to meet with village staff and public safety and nail down some of the details, we could probably be back before your next regular meeting with a refined map and a management plan. We'll have all the answers about the cups, how those are gonna work, how signage is gonna work. We could get all that done by the next meeting.
We're talking a month or 3 total to have it moving, not a year.
Correct. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
I think there was one more in the back, and then we'll.
Yeah, so doing this proposal, is it a cost to us village residents to do the proposal?
To the residents?
Yeah, is it a cost for the village, do they have to pay for this proposal to get it together, is there a cost for it?
Village doesn't have to pay to submit in order to establish it, so there's the licensees do,
The licenses.
which would cover
But for
that.
the plan that you're putting together?
No.
Just you're doing it?
Yeah, we're putting together the plan. We've got examples from other communities. We've done this for communities here in Berrien County, so we'll put it all together. It's a little bit of time to work with village staff and public safety to make sure that we've got it customized to Baroda, and then once it's up and running, assuming that there's no burden on the village to sell cups or anything like that, there shouldn't be any cost.
Do you guys do a program that can outreach to the community for the residents that live here to see, like the families, and see how they feel about it? Is there an easy way for you guys to do that? If there was like a mail survey to each of the residents' homes that they can fill it out and send it back?
That would increase the cost and wouldn't be easy,
Or
but
there
it's
could be an
possible.
online where they can go and, somehow to regulate it, that we know it's just village residents going and doing a survey.
Okay. We're open to something like that. It would just be a matter of figuring out how to do that effectively
All right,
and
thank you.
within the amount of time.
Thank
All right.
you.
Julie made a motion, right?
Julie made the motion, please correct me if I'm wrong, to develop a plan with formation of social district with management plan to be presented, second by Bob.
Are you writing all this down for me?
Yes.
Okay, and
Well,
supported
you
by
can
Bob.
too.
Alright, ready to vote?
Can I just say one thing? I will be in charge of cups. If y'all need somebody in charge of cups, I will volunteer for that, so you put that in your plan.
That's for them.
There's no doubt. We need somebody to volunteer to go talk to the residents. I'd be glad to go door to door.
I will do that.
Alright, Julie made a motion for the go-ahead to create a plan for the social district. I didn't write down the rest of it.
To develop a plan with information, to develop a plan with formation of social district with management plan to be presented.
Alright, supported by Bob. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Alright, well, thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
I'm happy to stick around too, just in case there are other questions.
Alright, back to the agenda. Audience comments? Anybody have anything besides social district related? Go ahead.
When does, pickup for lawn and refuse begin? Is that already started?
Yeah, they've been working on it.
Okay, just want to make sure, thank you.
Anything else? Alright, approve amended agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Should we amend it to add this letter?
Add what? I was gonna just bring that up under personnel committee.
Okay.
I'll support.
Alright, motion made by Bob, supported by Jack to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approved minutes for March 2nd.
Okay, so after bringing up last month that we're supposed to approve our minutes at the next meeting, I feel like we're really in a spot here. For those of you who may not be aware, the offer that I made for the last couple clerks has been, if you want to send your draft minutes to me, just so one person, you can get input from one person, and then I make a red line strikeout suggestions, and then they send it out to everybody. When these landed in my inbox about a week ago, it was 11 pages. Basically, use the recorder to transcribe to the best of the recorder's ability. However, that was not very good, so there was all kinds of nonsensical gibberish words in the middle of it. And it was literally, the minutes were every word that was spoken at the meeting. So once I got it down to 4 pages and came in and had a discussion, trying to make some generic suggestions about paring it down, and I thought that would be acted upon. I now see that it wasn't. I don't know what we're supposed to do now. I don't know what we're supposed to do now.
No, before that.
I got it from 11 pages down to 5, came in, had a discussion, made some general recommendations about paring this down. And I thought she would act upon that and didn't. And I guess I need to, all that I just said was actually in relation to the March 18th minutes. I think the March 2nd minutes are pretty close. The March 18 minutes, I don't know what to do.
Does anyone have changes for March 2nd?
Do we have to have everybody's comments on what they made? Or do we just say it was discussed, motion made? Because you can strike probably another 2 pages.
Everything.
Right.
Does anybody wanna go through and?
You are able to say, this topic was discussed, motion, the only thing you have, you're required, as far as I know, this recommended come on, that you have to word the word as the actual motion. You just say,
Right.
such was discussed, motion was made, this is the motion, second by who.
Right. I mean, just as an example, about the unfinished business on page 3, Village of Baroda Life Insurance side-by-side comparison, that could be as simple as no action taken. So I don't know that there's necessarily anything wrong in that eight lines of text, or inaccurate, but potentially there might be. So I don't know if we should try to go through and strike all this and get it all
Right now?
right. That's what I'm saying.
Are you able to table minutes?
I don't know if you
You
can.
have to
Open Meetings Act says you're supposed to
do it next.
make corrections at the next meeting.
Which were made, and they weren't done.
Right.
Right.
So, the changes were made, and I think that email could probably be sent to the rest of the board then, and approve it based on those changes.
I'm inclined to think that the March 2nd minutes, that there's not anything so
Besides being long, I don't really think there's anything.
I don't know of anything that's incorrect in them. How's that?
There's nothing incorrect, it's just super wordy.
Yeah, I mean,
I read it over and
I literally have
pretty accurate.
2 letters, S at the end, and 2 different words to be stricken would be my only recommendation. That's not worth the effort, in my
Correct.
opinion. So it's not significant.
Or page 2, after thumbs up, should say that.
Say again?
Slash. Page 2, the very right after the very last sentence, after thumbs up, she has the slash.
Okay.
But it's not, yeah.
All right. I will make a motion, see if it gets support in the majority vote. I'll make a motion to approve the March 2nd minutes as written.
I'll second it. Yeah.
Motion made by Bob, supported by Julie to approve the minutes for March 2nd, 2026. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, approved minutes for special meeting, March 18th, 2026.
So one of my requests in the email that I sent on this one was on page 2, under approved 2026-27 budget general appropriations. If we recall, last month, one whole column of numbers was incorrect, and we had to go through and figure out what those numbers were during the meeting. Everybody recall that?
Yes.
And so all we have in here in the minutes is to amend the numbers. I don't have any evidence that those numbers were actually changed. Case in point, our February 2nd ordinance that we passed, which created the Disincorporation Commission, we voted to make a change to that, but that wasn't made. I found out today when I requested a copy of that. So, we during the meetings, we say, we're gonna change this thing and vote to approve it, but then we vote to approve it and it moves on and it doesn't get changed. So how do we know that those numbers were changed in the General Appropriations Act, if not captured in our minutes? That's right.
I don't know if you actually put the numbers in minutes.
They were in my motion.
Yeah.
Read every one of them. And do we have those numbers somewhere?
We'd have to get that resolution out.
Let's
that readily,
I think we wrote it down, I just don't think.
is that something you could readily capture, Mark?
I don't have a copy.
You don't have it, okay.
So basically,
From our last meeting, when we changed the numbers on that last column,
Yeah, I know, I know what you're talking about. Gloria prepared that.
okay.
Okay. What happened was, I originally gave her the numbers to put in, the time before that or whatever. I didn't give her any new numbers to put in for the March 18th meeting, because originally it was supposed to be just a budget workshop, where we were gonna discuss the budget. Nobody told me ahead of time it was changed to an actual meeting where the budget would be voted on. So, not knowing that, I didn't give her any numbers to update it. So she submitted it with the old numbers. Now at the meeting, we reviewed it and we inserted the new numbers as we were talking about it. And she was crossing them out and writing in the new numbers. I saw her do that. And after that, I don't know what happened.
As much as I hate this, I think so just to let everybody in the room know, we had a resignation letter from our clerk. So we're kind of in a spot here. We, the person who writes the minutes is no longer here to write the minutes. I think that this is a defensible position because we're kind of in an impossible situation that we can either approve minutes that we don't know if they're accurate, or we at least know they're incomplete, or we can not approve minutes, which we're supposed to do. I think it's a pretty defensible position to not take a wrong action and delay that action so that we get it right. So I would make a motion to table the March 18th minutes until our next meeting. Approval of the March 18th minutes until our next meeting.
I'll second that.
Who's supporter? Who? All right, motion made by Bob, supported by Julie, to move the approval of our March 18th minutes to the May meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Opposed? Approval bills?
I have a question, so the attorney is on here twice. The first one up, the fourth one down says attorney through 2/28/2026. And then towards the bottom of the middle, I guess, it says again, February attorney. So do we pay her twice for February, because it's both the same amount?
It's check number 5308 and 5343.
Yeah, the wording is just different. So the one that's the fourth one down says attorney through 2/28/2026, and the one that's just, I guess, below the middle, just says February attorney.
Yeah, besides it appearing to be the same thing to the same person, it would be a heck of a coincidence that they're both $2,375.
Yes. I mean, it's not like one was January, one was February, you know what I mean? It was like they both are for February is what it's saying.
In the exact same amount.
Yes.
USA Blue Book is like water equipment, so.
Yeah, just look at it.
But it doesn't ask why they were double
Well,
phased.
okay, man, I don't remember signing two separate checks. Maybe there's somehow they're around here twice, but I don't know why there'd be two separate numbers.
We have to look at, pull the checks and look at the invoices. It might just, it could possibly be just the way it was entered into the system for other remarks. It could be two legitimate payments, but we can't tell until we look at the invoices.
That's my only comment on bills.
Yeah, so I don't know, do you approve it until? Have it looked into?
Yeah, we'll have to look into it.
Yeah, where do you want those words are not coming to me?
Yeah.
What all the questions everybody had on that?
Yes, that's all the questions.
Alright, I'll make a motion for the approval of bills for $42,254.24.
I'll support it.
Just a final discussion on this. Instead of a strict approve the bills, I think the motion needs to have something in it about investigating the potential double payment. I would have made the motion, but the words were not coming to me, so if anybody else can. And I guess it could just be with pending.
You could say.
Pending
contingent
investigation of the
upon-
potential double payment. Is that,
Contingent upon those two checks not being a double payment.
okay. You willing to retract your motion, or you wanna?
Yeah, I'll just
amend it,
add
or-
in there and contingent on researching the double payment. And if I support that?
Potential double payment?
Yep.
Okay. Would you read it when you have it all?
Alright, I'll make a motion for the approval of bills for $42,254.24, contingent on researching the potential double payment in the future.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Alright, motion made by myself, supported by Julie, for the approval of bills of $42,254.24. Roll call, Nikki,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Jack,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
myself, yes, motion carried. Alright, payroll.
Question, did Gloria get the, checks to do, like, direct deposit settled? Cause I didn't change my name, so I was just curious if everybody had gotten that set up, or if she's still doing checks, or?
Some people want checks, other people want a direct deposit. So
Okay, cause I just
where
didn't know if I had
she
received
left off with
payment
that.
yet.
Basically,
She sent us
she-
an email,
email
so
saying she wanted it.
I didn't do it.
So I was just
She
curious.
said it had to be everybody or nothing,
Oh, okay, thank you, Mark,
so,
Why is that?
I was just curious.
so you're still gonna get it today.
No, that's fine, I just was curious.
Yeah, I just.
What
no,
way
it's
we went.
just,
That's okay.
My only question here was, all of our pay periods are 2-week pay periods, correct?
Yes.
So, Tony Cochran, his gross paycheck, $2,782.
Yeah, that was the water and sewer taking that back over.
please?
I don't think a whole lot, we should be about squared away. We were kinda in a mess with that.
So that's all hourly?
Yeah.
Was that?
He did have one of his 750 checks in there for using his water license. So that is mixed in with that, it should be.
So it's not all?
It's hourly plus the 750.
Yeah, but that hasn't been approved yet.
I think it was in with his paycheck. If I remember Gloria telling me, I think she put it in with his pay.
I'm sorry.
We think, we don't know.
I would be willing to bet it's in there.
Have you been paid $750?
She did do a check for me and I had her to, get rid of it and split it out, so I didn't take the 750 now.
Okay.
Because it hasn't been approved yet.
Thank you for answering that question. That's, I think, so he doesn't have overtime. He hasn't been working over 40 hours a week?
No, he shouldn't be.
Okay, because that was, I was coming up with like 100 hours of pay there, so.
I don't think his pay's been as high though.
But Michael, you said that there was other stuff that was being done, documentation work that was
Yeah, we were
done
way
on
behind
the
on
employees.
everything.
So taking it back over was a big pain in the butt. We had to set up accounts with the state for both water and sewer. That was a big pain in the butt.
So we should be back down.
And then we're doing, sampling for the lagoons, cause now's the time of year when those get drained. We should
Also,
square away.
the last payroll of the border is when she was paying her meeting fees to anybody who was supposed to receive them.
Thank you. I will make a motion to approve payroll in the amount of $22,883.43.
I will support it.
I made a motion to approve payroll for $22,883.43, supported by Jack. Roll call, Nikki?
Yes.
Julie? Bob?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer's report?
I have a couple comments, but first, does anybody have any questions on the report?
Can you just give me a piece of information? Just because I don't know, I'm ignorant of it. Local street fund, where does the money come from? Does that come from the county, state? Is that?
Part of it comes from the state.
Okay, so we got a check from the state
for
for,
money, and it's split between major roads and local roads. The majority, of course, goes to major roads
and we just get that
once a month.
month, oh, you do get it monthly, okay. Okay, thank you.
Oh, there we go,
Okay, my comments are just to keep you up to date. We had our property tax settlement with the county a couple of weeks ago, and everything went smooth. I can't really take any credit for it because 99% of it was done before I got here. So, it was all good. And they are going to start giving me some initial training on accessing their systems this month. And then again in June, I'll be training when the tax bills go out. Second thing I wanna say is, it's been 2 months now since we had Lake Michigan counting in. I personally believe it'll no longer be needed, as long as I'm here. And that's saving you about minimum $1,500 a month. Now, the last time she was here, we had a discussion about that, and she's fine. She understood that, she probably wouldn't be needed with me here. But she said, down the road, if you ever need anything, or, you know, you need me to come in again, I'd be happy to. You know, she has other clients, she's filling her time with, but it's not like, you know, I told her we never wanna see you again, or anything like that, so. But I really don't think you're gonna need her for anything. The third thing, again, I think you guys need to put on an agenda sometime in the future and have a discussion about your receivables for water and sewer. When I was, doing some balance sheet reconciliations last week, late in the week, I started on water and sewer. And 25% of your receivable is classified as inactive accounts. An inactive account is basically people that sold their property to somebody else and never paid their final water bill. Renters that might have moved out and new renters that moved in. And none of this is really recent. This goes back 3, 4, 5, 6 years, most of these. So I think a policy has to be developed on what to do. I mean, you have options. Normally, it's handled at closing time. You know, when the property closes, the realtors are supposed to contact the city or the village or the water authority and get a final bill and pay at closing. Other places you can put it on the tax bill, but is it really fair to put on a new owner's tax bill when it's the old owner that didn't pay? You have the option of sending it to a collection agency, or we just write it off, but I would like to see it uncluttered, because I don't really like clutter that much.
Are they primarily renters?
No, it's primarily, people who no longer live there. And
Right, the same, but like rental type properties or home sales?
I believe it's, ownership property.
Interesting, okay.
Can I help? We actually have a policy on this. It's in black and white. They're supposed to get a late notice, they're supposed to get a disconnect notice. All of the things, the late fees are all established. And we reviewed it and updated, I believe, mid-2023 while Amber was in training. And we initiated the DPW going out and putting out the disconnect notices to ensure that we were not in that situation. And then as far as the tax bills, we are actually required to submit it to the county by a certain day so that it actually does go on the correct property owner.
Well, a lot of these were 2023 and prior.
Well, if the policy would have been followed, that would not happen.
I just need some direction on what you wanna do, if you just, or I can just let it sit out there, but,
no,
you know, I'm supposed to report instances where your city funds aren't being utilized.
Yep. Appreciate that. So, is that an easy enough report to get of these funds that are overdue by 2 months or more?
Oh, yeah,
And,
it's just an aging report and accounts receivable.
And so we know if we're talking, I mean, it's one thing if it's a business that has a $10,000, I don't know.
I have it on my computer,
we,
all this, cause I need to, first of all, an aging like that has never been produced before, and I was able to produce it off of BSNA. Okay, it's like a 8-page report, it just lists everybody who's overdue and the amounts, it's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, over 180 days.
Yeah.
And I started looking at the over 180 days, and I saw some of them went back, you know, like I said, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And then I looked, and they all say inactive, because at that dwelling, there's active accounts now with people paying the water bill.
So my point is, what do we do? And if it's, what's my water bill normally, $50, $70? If it's that, it's probably not worth trying to sue the person or trying to go after them 3 years later, which I don't know what the,
Well, that's why I said
what the legal
down,
standing we would have, so it might just be a better idea for us to just write this off. Now, if there's some business that has a multi-$1,000 overdue bill, that might be
No,
worth the
I
effort,
didn't
but-
see any of those. You're talking a total of about $2,500 at most, but it is a little over 25% of your total
So
receivables.
basically, we could spend $2,000 getting our attorney to put together a plan for us to try to recover this money,
That's
or we
why,
could just write
you
it
know,
off, so.
I didn't expect an answer tonight, but I thought you guys might want to just think about it and discuss it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Can you give us that report just so we can see what it is we're?
Yeah.
And I would probably be inclined to just write a motion to write it off, but then
Yeah, I can.
we do need to move forward. This is not a license to move out of town and not pay your water bill. So we might reset the clock and act different from here forward.
Yeah, I'll have it the next step.
What's done is done, yeah.
Unless you want me to email it out to you earlier.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
Please.
If you could.
Maybe send it to the auditors too, to get their opinion?
Well, we don't have any auditors yet.
Well, we should soon.
Thank you for bringing that to us.
Yeah, great catch, Mark.
Did you have anything else for treasurer's report?
No. Oh, yeah, in a little over an hour, Michigan is gonna stop UConn in the national championship. Speed the meeting
All right, clerk's report, we don't have anything. DPW report, they've been patching some roads and they brought up the tires again for the backhoe. Nobody could be here tonight. All right, new business, replace 3 tires for the backhoe.
So one, if we're replacing yours and twelve, one obviously must be decent.
One of them flew apart on them a while back, so.
So there, got it.
Yeah, so that one was replaced.
It's Baroda tire is the handwritten one.
Baroda tire doesn't do those types of tires.
So who has the handwritten one?
The handwritten one is Goodyear in St. Joe, over by the Harold Playground.
Okay, so will we have to trailer the equipment to get it there?
They either need to pull the wheels off and drop it off, or I don't know if they want to drive it that far. Grant would drive it that far.
Do we have means, do we have means to?
Yeah, they can pull the wheels off and haul it down there. Throw them on his trailer.
So it kind of doesn't matter, we don't have a local business that can do it, and the prices are both the same.
The last tire they did get from the handwritten one, where it says Joe.
Oh, you said the last,
The,
to have a matching one?
yeah, the one tire that we did replace came from the place in St. Joe.
And it says before tax, but we don't pay tax, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll make a motion to use the, sorry, can you tell me which Goodyear?
It says MTS Express on the paper, but it was Goodyear in St. Joe.
Goodyear, St. Joe? Make a motion to approve replacement of 3 remaining backhoe tires, in the amount of $1,654.10.
I'll support it. All right, Bob made a motion to go with Goodyear for the replacement of 3 backhoe tires in the amount of $1,654.10, supported by Jack. Roll call, Nikki?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion carried. order flowers for 2026, we were supposed to have something from a wholesale flower supplier, but they never got it to us, so we don't have anything for that.
Just the hanging baskets we're talking about?
Yes, the hanging baskets.
Great.
All right, Chill Hill special event.
I have one other thing on the flowers, sort of flowers, we talked about putting trees in.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna still spring, put the trees in, or is that still in the works?
They'll have to dig down there and see if those roots are rotted out yet. The last time it was just a massive, like, wood. They sure don't wanna rot away.
Are we putting chemical on or anything to do that?
Oh, you don't wanna do that.
I think I had suggested that one time, getting that root away or whatever that root rotting stuff was.
So what are we gonna do about that?
Oh, we'll have to pop them up and see how hard they are in there. They gotta work on those anyways. After the caps got ripped off over the winter. So I'll let you know when we find.
Okay, appreciate it.
Alright, Chill Hill special event?
Yes, I'm Ashley with Chill Hill Winery and hoping to get approval on our outdoor alley events for this year. Each year I come and ask. I have 6 that I'm hoping for this year. I've switched the, how many times I've done it. I did 10, I did 14, 7 last year. 2 got rained out and there's just so much work. We set up tables, chairs, umbrellas, roll in our tiki stage. We put up fencing. It's usually me and Becca that do all that. We tear it all down at the end of the night. Once the band leaves, there's a band and food truck, 5 to 9 p.m. And then in the morning, the next morning, we do a walkthrough again if we miss anything because it's dark out. Usually get there by like 10. I live above Chill Hill though, so I'm usually up before then walking around. But yeah, I've been talking to some bands and have some cool food trucks and hoping that everyone's okay with it. Or if you have questions or concerns, feel free.
I do.
Okay.
One of your bands.
When?
One of the bands.
Oh, yeah.
You have an AC/DC tribute band.
I did in the
Are
past.
they, you're not having them this year? Good. They're, both years you had them were way too loud. And the first year I live on Sonoma. I walked over and
I remember
witnessed.
you have the decibel.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I walked over and witnessed the guitar player from the band turn around and drop his pants on stage while there's kids back playing. I picked the fence side.
Really?
I have it on video.
Alright, well I missed that one.
That's not appropriate.
No, it's
But
not appropriate.
the rest of your bands, I don't have any problem.
Yeah, we have, my kids are running around there, so,
Yeah, that's,
yeah. No, they're not coming back.
okay.
Yeah.
I agree. I was here, was it 2021 when you guys asked for the social distancing thing?
Oh,
And we were all about that. People need to, boy, every year you guys are wearing this out. I live on 2nd Street. I got a little bit past windows. My windows rattle when the bassists get crazy.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I live right across the street, I love it.
I said something one time on Facebook, because I'm a nurse. I worked every other weekend and I worked 12, 16 hours.
Well, it's not
The
supposed to be
only
on
weekend I
Sunday.
had off was when you guys played and I commented on it. So I got
She
tired
was
of it.
speaking because she was talking
And I
about
got
social
jumped
events,
on
she had to
ugly
refresh
on
her.
stage.
Yeah, on
Okay.
social media.
All right.
We were the bad guys and we're saying,
I think it's something.
It was horrible.
All right,
We're
we're
gonna,
gonna
comments for the
move on.
business owners and not the audience right
Yeah.
now. Thank you.
I did try and space out my dates, and there is only, there is 6, usually one gets rained out. The bands usually take breaks, so it gets a little quieter, there's usually like 3, 4 breaks. I just let the band kind of choose their breaks. I live above Chill Hill, I can hear my TV, so I think that it does travel backwards. I just really don't know how to fix that, and like the wind, I know that doesn't help.
Ashley,
They bring a lot of money.
I will commit to Melrose with an EV year. try to help you
Okay.
regulate that, and maybe that'll help with the existing
that.
residents around the area.
Okay, thank you.
Did you say you had a decimal meter?
My dad had one, he does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, hey, you know.
That I
Yeah,
would use it.
it can be,
I
So-
can
be regulated.
I got a phrase for you guys, just
Well,
club
I
it
won't
in.
do that, I gotta get the wording right for Bob, so I'd like to make a motion, but it says for the
I'll be honest
insurance,
with you, the social people.
bring in May White's
I don't want the
renewal
road
for
to
current year.
Michael, okay, Michael.
we got a motion up here.
There's too many conversations.
Alright, who made the motion?
Well, I will make a motion, but I wanna word it correctly, because it says for the insurance, so I'll make a motion to approve once we are provided
This year's.
this year's,
Conditional upon current insurance.
thank you, yes.
I'll second the motion.
Ashley, can you tell me, in years past, did you go past 9 o'clock? Or
I
is it always
don't-
ended at 9 o'clock? Okay.
Thank you for helping that community grow.
Brian?
Outside the box.
So Susan also, you guys are
Come in, we'll be there.
Alright, Katie made a motion to approve the event on the condition of providing insurance.
Yeah, current year insurance is fine. Renews in May, so I'll bring in the rest of my stuff then.
Alright, who supported it?
Jack did.
Alright, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sorry it took so long.
Oh, it's okay.
Unfinished business, planning commission report. Who's down there? You wanna talk any on that?
Sure, why not? Gloria said that she's stuck, report with the big honking QR codes in your guys' folder if you had it cool. If not, to give you my copy. I know we have some physios that seen that. Essentially what I tried to do is to break down the Michigan Planning Enablement Act, where it's relevant to the planning committee makeup, and kind of working it kind of came out, if you will, the different, pros and cons, or the, going to a 7-member board versus a 5-member board versus keeping it 90-day. We met last month and looked over the information, and along with our colleague Ryan Keogh's, our zoning admin, we opted to re-recommend the 5-board makeup. We did have to make a couple of minor corrections to the initial recommendation to bring them in line with the Michigan Planning Enablement Act. Specifically, the 5-member board now has 2 non-residents, which that's prescribed by the MPEA, and within consultation with our village attorney, we struck the component to appoint an interim member, as that's not allowed under the MPEA. Otherwise, nothing else changed. The determination of the planning commission was that having 5 members, there's less to have to hire. The amount of folks that we need to reach quota, as of today, if we were 5 or 7, we'd still end up with that same ratio. So there's not that much of an advantage to go to 7. With that all said, I would still like to remind you guys that we're still currently sitting at a 9-member board with 2 official vacancies, unofficial vacancy, and 1 member who comes about half the time. So we're really running at bare quorum as it is now. So we do need to have seats filled regardless of if we stay at 9, we go to 7, we go to 5. the amount of vacancies that we would need. If you've got this report, it's on the chart there, which with the 5, we need to currently hire 1 person. If we go with the 7-member board, we need to hire 2. So regardless, we need to get the back signal out that we need more planning commission members. If anybody wants to be on the planning commission, please join us. It's a lot of fun if you like reading ordinances and that kind of stuff. It is a vital portion of getting things done. There's a lot of good work that we're trying to get done. But that's more or less the where we're at with that.
I've
So,
submitted 2 applications.
what's that?
I've submitted 2 applications, I've never read.
Okay. I'm not on the hiring thing. I'm just putting the word out there. So that's where we're at with the makeup of the planning commission. I can go in, I think we have later in the agenda too, there's a planning commission report, or that's under the committees. I can touch on that too while I'm standing here yakking, if anybody wants to. Okay.
I have a question real fast here.
Go for it.
On the 7-member thing,
Yes.
under ex officio, I saw my name kinda showed up
You
on
know
there.
what, because what I was trying to do is we're gonna game out the hypothetical member makeup group we had now. So,
I think Steve is he's doing a fine job. He's doing a bang-up job.
yes, but you love to read ordinances, and you go back and forth with me, which is why I put you down there. On the 5 makeup, I kept Katie, she's currently our secretary, she's doing a fantastic job. She keeps me updated on what's going on between the board and all of that, so regardless, can't get rid of her, but if we go with 7-member, by statute, we're only allowed to have 2 ex officios, so I figured I'd shoot for the moon and get somebody that'll argue ordinances with me. That was just that's why I said it's hypothetical. It wasn't a promise, but we'd love to have you, Bob. We have openings.
We did say that.
Something else too that's worthwhile discussing on this topic too, we have the terms of all the members, the ex officios. That means the board members that are on this board that are also on the planning commission. Their terms last the length of their board terms, so that's kind of already set and dictated. The regular members, like myself, we're supposed to have a 3-year term that's staggered. So in this, what we would be looking at is, so ideally, the 3-year term for everybody who's not an ex officio on the board doesn't end at the same time, because now you got a hiring crunch. Who is hired when, what their terms were, has not been kept track. Also, if you're hired on to replace or finish somebody else's term, we haven't been keeping track of that. So I was taking over for Dolly. I don't know who she was taking over for. So that's all something that needs to be squared away whenever we figure out we're doing. We'll end up needing to have everyone resign so that we can get reappointed, set the proper rotation terms, so that way we don't end up with mass vacancies. And then again, that's all dictated on the Planning Management Act. Regardless of however size we try or need to go for, it's the same amount of quorum, threshold for quorum we have now. I already mentioned we need to hire more people, we need to practice stagger, just discuss that. Just as food for thought, and I'm not going to recommend this, but for a village, the planning commission is not a requirement. It's a may establish, not a shall. So basically, you guys could dissolve the planning commission, and then I have nothing to talk about. However, that doesn't mean the work goes away. If it all still needs to be done, that means there's more work for you guys to do. We could delegate it to subcommittees, etc. But again, just pointing out as an option, since it's a may, shall, it's planning commission is optional. Yes, ma'am.
My opinion would be, I do want to keep Donna. She's valuable. You do great work, Donna. But like she said, that is an option. If we are in a pinch, it would be more work on us that we could take on the responsibility. If we can't meet quorum or this or that, but then we could always, like, once we're more settled, after we figure out the disincorporation thing, we can always, get the planning commission back up and running. But worst case scenario, we could take on the work and have advisors, but, I like having Donna as the leader of the board currently.
Thank you. If you're going to go to the dissolve, you have to have public hearings. You have to follow the standard ordinance procedure, so it's not like you guys, vote today and it's done. It's still going to be a multi-month process. Because it's just an ordinance change. It's really ultimately what it is. An ordinance established a planning commission. An ordinance ordinance change to make it go away.
Do you know what other villages of similar population are doing for planning commission size?
They all kind of vary, but most are doing some sort. I know Ryan knows what all the neighboring communities are doing by the back of their hands.
Okay.
Very few are having their main governing body handle all of it.
But 5, 7, 9?
It's typically much smaller.
Okay.
So 5 is going to be much more common. We have 7-member board here, 7-member board here. We currently have 9 on the planning commission, and so it's we're oversized on that, which is what we're trying to consolidate, trying to make sure that there's fewer members so we can get quorum easier, people to pay, that kind of fun stuff.
Thank you.
Do you have a preference for 5 or 7?
Me personally,
Mm-hmm.
I would go with 5 just because there's less seats to have to fill. Trying to get seats, vacant seats filled has been historically a challenge here in general with most things. So to me, having 2 less seats to try to appoint and keep track of makes more sense. But if you guys are feel really good about 7, I don't care. We just need to get down from 9 because it's way too big. It's too many vacancies. We need to fix the rotational regular member 3-year cycle thing. I'm sure there's a fancy word for that and word for it, but it escapes me at the moment.
Can we also post like a job or how can we get out to the community to get more people?
How? I guess how else we're currently publishing information.
I just didn't know if we could post it as like a job, so
Yeah,
it's out there,
Yeah, because you still have to, at least when I did, I had to go ahead and, do the job application for it and all that stuff. So as far as I know, it's treated as a standard employment thing. And I don't know if we want us to go on Indeed because, you have to be from the village or they can be from the township. That's your non-residents. I'm actually a non-resident. I used to live in the village, was on this board, was on the planning commission, moved to the township because found our dream home. And it was in Baroda, amazing. So I'm currently serving in the planning commission as a non-resident, which we have another spot currently for one of those 2, so if the township folks want to get involved, please.
Are you requesting action on this tonight then?
If you guys want to have further deliberation, you can, but we've debated amongst ourselves. We've sent it up to you guys. We've done the planning, the public hearings. We've submitted our findings of fact. You've sent that back to us. We've deliberated again. So I think the topic has kind of been debated ad nauseum.
Okay. So I guess my only concern at this point, I'm thinking along these lines more than I used to. Did we have an ordinance that established a 9-person planning commission,
Yes.
anything like that? So it's not as simple as us just saying, let's do this. Kind of like you said, we will need to get an ordinance put together for this.
And that would follow,
So we could, our action tonight could be to direct the creation of an ordinance, draft an ordinance for approval. So what, does someone have an opinion about? I don't know what it is about me. I like slow change, not big change. And I'm more comfortable with it going to 7-person than straight from 9 to 5. But I can't really, other than I like small changes, I can't make an argument besides that.
Being on the planning commission for the last year, I'm comfortable going to 5.
I am too, because we're struggling to keep people, if we can at least keep a solid 5, I would be happy.
Same here.
But we really need to treat it like a job and actively post that we're looking for people and getting it out to the community and filling those spots and looking for, business people and.
I think right now with just not knowing what's going on, we don't wanna technically hire somebody, so to say, to then turn around and fire them if we go.
Right, we're in
from
limbo,
9 to
we're in
5.
limbo
Yeah,
land right
so
now.
we have to.
It doesn't follow the planning commission.
So could everybody hear Nikki there? We're looking for planning
No,
and
township
it's.
I did here,
Or you have a board.
somebody posted out on Facebook, everybody seems to read all the posts out there about Baroda.
Yeah.
I'm serious, put it out on,
Absolutely.
Yep,
put a
right.
post out there that we're looking for.
And it's free.
All right. So I make a motion to draft a ordinance to change the planning commission makeup from a 9-person board commission to a 5-person commission for action at a future meeting.
I'll second it.
Good.
And then who drafts that ordinance? Who drafts the ordinance then?
I already put together the draft ordinance, that was part of the whole thing, I've, sent that up to President Price, so that at this point then it would be, run it by the lawyer just to make sure, it's kosher, then you're gonna have to, announce that we're doing an official ordinance change, I think another public hearing. I'm not super hip on what happens once it gets to your guys' court, because that's on you, but there's still more steps to do, so if you talk to the lawyer. But what I would also say too is we did send the recommendation of which you approved the special land use verbiage a couple months ago. We're also working on updating the district schedule definitions for mixed use, because there isn't one, but the map says there is, so that's a problem. And looking at updating the map, because it's got a copyright in 1997 and things have changed since then. So we're actually trying to get more stuff up, so I don't know if you guys want to try to wait till we get all of these together and then go. That way you can do one meeting, one lawyer request versus doing each at a time. That's up to you guys, but.
Thank you. And I did say for action in a future meeting, is that what I said? Or is that what you captured?
That was what I heard.
Okay, good. So, didn't lock this into next month, but get it all our ducks in a row, let the attorney look at everything and be ready to act on it. Thank you.
All right, Bob made a motion to draft the ordinance to make the planning commission from 9 to 5 at a future meeting. Does that sound right? Does anyone support it?
Julie.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Donna, can I ask you one more question in public?
Absolutely.
For kind of everybody's benefit. So there was information that was going around, widely repeated, that if an ex officio member on the planning commission made a vote as part of the planning commission, that they had to vote the same way when they came to the village board. And we investigated that and went back and forth by email. And do we agree through all of our investigation that that is not a rule?
It is not a hard and fast rule, but it's still a good thing to follow because it can open you up to litigation. Now, whether or not that means that the litigant is going to succeed is another matter. Of course, you could also look at it as, this is America, we're a just happy society, so you just walk out the door and get sued. But generally speaking, as the best of my understanding, there isn't a specific statute that says you have to vote, if you're an ex officio, if you vote one way in committee, and the planning commission, you have to vote the same on the board.
I don't know how we get this 100% resolved because I'm actually a little surprised by your answer. I thought we came to, after looking, everything I saw was that they could vote yes at a planning commission meeting, they could come to this meeting, we could have a discussion, and they could go, oh, we didn't think about that, I'm voting no.
Yes, absolutely.
And perfectly justified in that.
They could, but again, so to give you some back context, we've been operating under the assumption that an ex officio member is on both boards. And they vote one way on something with the planning commission. Because the planning commission is supposed to air out, that's where you're supposed to do all the heavy lifting, the analyzation, public hearings, all that stuff. And then that gets sent up to the board, and the board members who voted yes here turn around and vote no. Now you have kind of like a conflict of interest kind of thing. So that's where we're trying to get resolved. Is that an actual thing that we need to be concerned about? So I've consulted with former planning commission chair, our zoning admin. I guess if we probably need to, if we wanted to have a definitive answer, let's just kick that one to our village attorney. Because I've gotten conflicting advice, but I've looked through the statutes. Yeah, it's boring, but it's also kind of funny if you're into that sort of thing. I can't see any court cases that said that, anything in Michigan, any type of Michigan statutes, ordinances, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Do you recall, what did Ryan say? Didn't it happen more so the zoning itself and the properties? That's where it's kind of like the tricky green line. I could be wrong. I just remember there was like a specific one.
Yeah.
So he was like,
Sorry, I didn't mean to litigate this. I thought that we were gonna absolutely clear the air and put this to rest finally once and for all.
No, but I'll tell you what, we'll talk to Ryan, I'll just make, because we'll see him in a couple weeks. We'll get that, and we'll write down the specific verbiage, and we email the attorney that just as a confirmation, then we can finally put this one to bed.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because we don't want these people to go to the meeting and think that they have to vote here one way if that's not the case. And if it is the case, then I guess
Oh, 'cause
it's good to know it.
yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, social district we moved up, approved Kugel Lawton for preparation of 2025-2026 audit.
Thank you, Donna.
Yes,
Yep.
thank you, Donna.
I'll make a motion to approve Kugel-Lawton to form our 2025-2026 audit.
I'll support it.
Who won that one, Jack?
Yeah, Jack.
I'm faster. A little quicker on the draw.
All right, motion made by Bob, supported by Jack to approve Kugel Lawton for the 2025-2026 audit. We'll do a roll call. Nikki?
Yes.
Julie?
Yep.
Todd?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Jack? Yes. Katie?
Yes.
Myself, yes. All right, water sewer agreements.
So you guys officially picked up at the, basically the beginning of March, is that correct?
Yes.
Is that when?
I think it was March 3rd.
Okay. And Tony was paid already for March, in March. Right?
Yep.
Was it on yesterday's?
Probably the time before. I think it'd be the one before.
So the 23rd.
Another thing with Tony's pay, it just popped in my head, Andrew was on vacation, so Tony filled that.
So the employment agreement, it says include in the first pay period of each month. So does that mean you pay at the beginning of the month, then you do the work, or you pay at the end of the month after the work is done?
I believe you pay at the beginning of the month because you have to do it for the entire month according to the agreement.
Well, yeah, I know I have to work the entire month to get paid. I thought at the last meeting we had discussed it to be opposite. And I also, I mean,
We have wording.
But this isn't something that you can just walk away from, we have to have an operating.
Well, yeah, but the individual, that's the beauty of having two people, and that gives me great comfort that we have two people. But an individual can stop, and so that individual should not have already been paid.
it just, like you said, Michael, you denied yours, he got his. I have a problem with that, honestly. Especially since it was discussed and we hadn't even gotten the agreement together. Like, he should have been paid 1st of April for the March work.
Yep.
And so he was already paid, we don't haven't even approved this. And you didn't take yours, but he took his. So I guess I'm just a little confused on how and why that's all happening. I have some reservation, without getting into any details, I just have some reservations, about Tony, so,
Can I get into detail?
No.
no.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Alright, not a problem, thank you.
Sorry. I didn't mean to say it like that,
No,
I'm
it's all
sorry.
good.
So sorry.
No offense taken.
I'm sorry. I'm just concerned about some things. And I really don't wanna get into discussion. I think it should be a closed session
Well, we're not,
conversation.
she's also not here, so if you have concerns.
No,
that's-
I would prefer to have that discussion, just like with the, like a closed session. I think it's appropriate
Okay.
for an employee, rather than discuss it.
Okay,
So who's gonna be our water and sewer operator then? We have to have one. And the last guy, we paid $1,500 a month, and then I ended up doing it for free.
I'm trying to find, I had a markup and I don't know where it went, so I'm gonna have to recreate it.
Can you do the water and the sewer?
Yeah, but I've been doing it, I haven't been getting paid.
Well, that's why we're doing.
That, the reservation is necessary to do, so. I think,
It's a very good idea to have 2 people, I'll just put it that way. So, because otherwise, if somebody walks off, it's not like anybody can just waltz in and be the water sewer operator. You have to have a minimum of 1 year experience, and then the state has to approve you to take the exam.
have we ever like thought about, what do other communities do? Like, what does Lake Township do? Can we have a memorandum of understanding to maybe work with them, with their person?
I've already asked them, and they wouldn't do it.
What about Andrew, isn't Andrew looking into that?
Yeah, but he still has to take the exam and all that. This was kind of temporary, hopefully, until we can.
How long ago did you reach out last? Like township was recent?
No,
Last
it's probably been,
month, 6
it's probably
months
been 2
ago, year ago?
years,
It's been 2 years.
maybe a year.
I know they did say, I don't know what other municipalities, but some municipalities use, F&B, because that, they proposed to us,
Cause I just think
6
we
months
need
ago?
an estimate.
No, it was a little over a year ago, I think, but they were 75,000.
Yeah, they were going out of our price range, but they did say that they do other municipalities in the area.
I think we need to explore and ask
Like, I think.
Because we right now don't have anybody, so.
Can we go to the agreement, employment agreement for Michael Price? The bottom of the first page under compensation presently reads, Michael Price shall receive the flat rate of $750 per month, which shall be included in the first pay period of each month period. So I would propose, before the period, adding for duties performed the prior month. Would that, is that clear? Because it refers,
covers it, yeah.
it refers to duties above, not work or responsibilities, or that's where I came with the word duties. And so the question is, we have long agreed that $1,500 per month is the fair and equitable amount to pay for our water services license holder doing those duties. So I would suggest that if Michael Price is the one and only person doing that he should be paid $1,500 per month.
Oh, $750 for water, no $750 for sewer.
Okay. And that's all. Sewer operator.
So we have to change where it says sewer operator, sewer and water operator?
Was that a difference that I missed? Does
Yeah,
Tony,
because on
does
Michael-
Tony say water operator?
Yes, Tony says water operator, Michael says sewer
Well, that was how we were gonna do it, Tony was gonna be the water operator.
Thank you, that answers a question I've had. So, like, my question was, who's really responsible? So now I see. Okay,
Do you have to have a licensee for each thing, water and sewer separately?
Yeah, they're separate licenses.
Then you go have them both.
The only other thing I'll point out to everybody is, under termination, it says either party presumably the employer or the employee may terminate this agreement within 30 days written notice. Likewise shall at all times be an at-will employee of the village may be terminated with or without cause in context of this sewer operator, right? So neither of these are like for a setting into a long-term contract.
It does say under terms,
Right.
March 1st, 2026 to March 31st, 2027.
I think that allows them to renegotiate the price and all that.
Here.
But at any time, it's a 30-day notice to terminate.
I can call Tim back and see if he wants to do it again.
Nobody was happy with 10, hired these people for $7,500.
We voted to get rid of Tim.
Right, but other things came up to discuss with the board too.
But this is the same agreement Tim has. So if we go back with Tim, we're gonna have the same agreement.
Can we table it and have a meeting?
Can we table what?
Can we table this and have a closed session?
I know, but he's been doing it all these years and he's still doing it, like, the
Right.
compensation of it.
He should be compensated.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, it's, we can table him, that he's gonna keep doing all the work and.
I think we need to get that up there. And have a
Okay.
special meeting or closed session.
Yep.
So, just to be clear,
He has to request that.
yes,
We can, okay, so just so you know, he has to request that if that's what he would like. Whoever wants us to close the meeting.
the employee.
The employee, yeah, whoever would come in and say, I request a close it, they have to do it.
That's fine. I'm just saying we need to.
Cause we've had employees before who we asked them to, and they
That's
haven't.
something good, we just need to talk to them, other things.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying he would have to then come in and request it, so we'd have to get him to do it, for us to have it.
I think Michael already did the work, he should be paid for the last one, just like we had talked about. So that should be whatever, for the March 2 to March 31st work, in his next paycheck, he should be paid for the March. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Tony's already been paid for it. I think, Michael, if you talk to Tony and say that, we just need to talk to him about a couple things, we can either do it here, or we can do it in a closed session, which preference, right?
Well, I'll have to get with you and see what we're talking about.
Okay.
Let him know.
Okay, so I will start off with making a motion for both of these employment agreements under compensation to add for duties performed the prior month. Is everyone clear about what I'm suggesting?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you make a motion, Bob?
Did you make a motion?
That was right now.
Yeah, to add duties performed the prior month, so the end of the last page.
Under compensation, at the end of that sentence, add for duties performed the prior month.
I'll second.
Okay, Katie?
All right, motion made by Bob to add to the contract the portion duties performed for prior month. Is that right?
Close. 4 duties performed the prior month.
All right, supported by Katie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Abstain. Carried.
I am, I'm unaware of specific accusations, charges, or otherwise. In the vein of innocent until proven guilty, I'm going to make a motion to approve the employment agreement, for Anthony Cochran to perform duties as water operator, village water operator.
Bob made a motion to approve the water operator contract for Anthony Cochran. I'll support it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
2 nays?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do a roll call. Nikki?
No.
Julie? Bob?
Yes.
Steve?
No.
Jack?
Yes.
Did I get everybody? Katie? I didn't get Katie, did I?
Yes.
Katie, you were in.
Yes.
Alright, motion carries.
Michael, you were a yes?
Yes, I was a yes. 3 yeses, or 4 yeses, 3 noes is what I had. Does anybody want me to reach out to other companies like FMV?
I don't,
I don't think it's a good idea, like, if somebody quits, moves, whatever, it's always good to have info and backups.
And I really like the idea of the municipality. I don't know what our relationship is with, Lake Township. I mean, we buy our water from them, and that would be fantastic. I will make a motion to accept the amended employment agreement with Michael Price as village sewer operator.
Alright, Bob made a motion to accept the sewer operator contract for myself.
a second.
Alright, supported by Katie. Alright, we'll do a roll call. Nikki?
I'm sorry, we're, let me just roll call, sorry.
We're doing
Michael's.
Michael for the sewer.
Oh, Michael, yes, sorry.
Julie?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Alright, I'll abstain. Motion carried. Alright, approve arch asphalt ceiling for street repair.
These are all roadway areas, yes, Michael?
Yes,
Okay.
and then the Chorba one was the same areas. The Chorba and Ark for the street repair for the same areas.
And where's Chorba? I only have our. Okay, that was in the left front sleeve of our, at least in my binder. This was on the table and I stuck it in there maybe.
That's, no, I think we're doing this one.
Well, it's Ark and Chorba are for the same areas. Chorba was at one, it was 6,100. I gave everybody a new one because they
Okay,
broke
I'm
it
just
down.
asking. That's G, the short one.
Yeah, I don't know why she listed it like that. The Chorba and the Ark are the same areas.
So E and G are actually the same.
Yeah, they would be
places
the
for
same
repairing? Then why are they so different?
That's a good question.
Like that's like 6,000 to 18,000, that's like not even close.
Which ones are you looking at?
Is these the two you said?
Yeah.
For these
Yeah.
repairs?
Yep.
Yeah, so.
If you look at their scope, it looks like the Chorba is more taking off a little bit off the top, like 2 inches, 1.5 inch, and then patching. Where the Ark looks like it's going a lot deeper, they're taking down 4 inches deep.
And then Art's recommendation was gonna try to reshape the asphalt to funnel the water, keep it from ponding like it does.
Do we have experience, history with either of these companies making small
Yeah,
patch repairs?
from both of them, but Chorba's more been, patching where like water main breaks in. They haven't done anything big for us.
And is this big, or?
Yeah, I think it would be a bigger project. But the asphalt patching they have done has been nice, and he said they do use a higher quality asphalt.
But they're not laying out and restrip olive. That's distributed, they're not doing that. And it's like repaint all affected stripping. I don't see where they can, nothing's missing.
Is there any? Okay, well. There we go.
Well, these are two, those are different, and this one was the same.
So I think that's the big difference, is Chorba's gonna go down 2 inches where Art suggested going the full 4 inches.
So it looks like we're in.
Price?
So for right out here in front of the building, where it's right from the parking lots, Art wants 7,425, where Chorba's 3,347.
Another little.
And then on the Chorba one, the last two, I think Grant took care of those areas today, so those will not be on there. The church and Placid Lane and Placid Drive.
Like, what's your recommendation between these two bids?
I think I would go with Chorba.
Make a motion to accept the Chorba, estimate for paving repair.
Are we getting all this done with Corvo though, that's in this map? 'Cause I don't.
Yeah, that would be, yeah, there was a small area here. Let me make sure it's all on there. Mill for various areas on Church and Main Street, so yeah, that should be these areas.
They just put a picture, they described it.
Okay.
And then the small area in front of the beer garden. So that's down here.
Okay.
So, wait a minute now, okay. So Chorba's final one is for Placid Lane and Placid Drive, but that's not on the map.
Yeah, Grant should have taken care of those today, so we don't need to do those.
So which one do they have that is, or the last two? In front of Beer Garden Brewery,
Church and
so
First.
that's area 4. And Church Street and First Street. So they're not. This bill, this quote doesn't appear to take care of all the 4 spaces marked on the map. Because they have Church Street and First Street is approximately 979 square feet, just as a single one, where the ARC has 1350 plus 440 plus 432 for 1, 2, and 3. Are any of these, I know I've driven over them, I know that there's like some significant, like looking at area number 2, that crosswalk area there, straight up. I know it's all chunked up and falling apart. Is there anything like that absolutely has to be done right away, or can we have them look at this map again, and since the Church Street and Placid Lane are now, and Placid Lane, Placid Drive have now been corrected, so those come off this quote, and get a revised quote and make sure that it captures all 4 of these places on this map?
I can ask them, I don't remember exactly what 4 spots they were talking about. They might be trying to split the area 3 into 2 different spots, would be my guess.
Because it looks like the first one is somewhere right at Church Street and First Street, which would be the crosswalk area, being space 2, area 2, and then it says in front of the beer garden at the brewery, which would be space number 4. So what about 1 and 3? I hate to keep dragging this out month by month, but
Yeah, I can ask them.
if we have good history with them getting, their prices are definitely a lot more attractive. Should we table this one for a updated quote?
Yes.
I'll reach out to them. All right, approved arch asphalt ceilings for the tennis and basketball courts. So there was an arch and a Schembarger asphalt ceiling.
Who have we used before for them?
I think Art has always done it. I don't think we've ever had anybody else besides Art.
Well, I've also heard that Arndt uses, Schemberg uses Arndt for like their finger jobs also. That's what I've heard. I haven't had a good concrete jobs done.
I mean, obviously one's a couple $1,000 more, well, not more than a couple, but about $4,500 more. But at the same time, that's an awful lot of money to spend if it's not gonna be the best quality. I'm happy to pay an extra $4,500 if it's gonna be a significant change in quality. So, I have no way of knowing, have any history with either of these.
In the past, when Art got done with it, it looked really nice.
Yeah.
Both places did say though, our tennis court is getting past the point of repair and needs to be ripped out and redone.
just as a single little data point, painting the tennis court, including adding in, stripes to make 2 of them into pickleball courts, that's $2,200, where Schembarger $1,600. Unfortunately, I don't see anything on here that says basketball court anywhere on the Schembarger.
Yeah, I didn't, Schembarger came out, they never got a hold of me and told me they were coming out. I was able to meet Art, and then Chorba came out to look at the tennis courts too, but they never got us a estimate on it.
So the Schembarger is only for the tennis court for $23,000?
I would assume so,
Where
I
ours
did
is-
mention the basketball court, but like I said, I didn't get the name off for it.
Art is short of 28 for tennis and basketball court. Okay. I hate this. Make motion to accept the art proposal for tennis and basketball court, resurfacing the painting, including the pickleball net, so the full coat, or pickleball, painting.
I will second that.
Can I ask the amount for that, Rob?
$27,920.
Thanks.
We say it's been 3 years since we did it last?
I think so, I think it's been 3 years.
Okay, so I made the motion, did anybody second that? Thank you.
All right, Bob made a motion to accept the proposal from Art Asphalt Ceiling for $27,920, supported by Julie. Roll call, Bob,
Yes.
Nikki,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Jack,
Yes.
myself, yes, motion carried. Just Corporation Commission, I think that's the next one.
We got Shorba asphalt paving, did you do that one?
The concrete repair? The concrete repair, right?
Yeah. E and G were supposed to be the same, but so apparently she just put them into separate, but they were the same.
Yeah, they were close to the same.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yes.
Progress. Close to the end.
So, just before we get into it, I wanted to read a letter that, the discussion at the previous meeting was, that the township was not going to continue, with finding another person for the disincorporation committee unless we, had Brad remove himself. So he had written a letter to us, the board, and I just want to briefly read it quickly on his behalf. Village council members, thank you for your support during the March 18th special meeting when the letter from Township Attorney Sarah Seneca regarding the disincorporation commission was discussed. I appreciate the council took no action to remove or replace me and instead supported the village appointed commission members. I write to respectfully dispute the inaccurate characterization of me and my comments set forth in that letter. My remarks were not personal or political attacks. They were process-based comments concerning statutory compliance, petition language, certification issues, transparency, public trust, and matters reflected in public records. On March 2nd, I expressly stated that I was not speaking for or against disincorporation, but rather in support of a lawful and transparent process under MCL 74.18A. I also made clear that the commission had not met, its members had not been sworn in, and I was speaking as a resident. The concerns I raised were grounded in public records, including FOIA materials reflecting early involvement by township officials months before the petition was circulated. Those records, in my view, raise legitimate concerns about transparency, neutrality, and public confidence in the process. Raising those concerns should not be recast as a personal attack. That said, in my opinion, the more significant obstacle has been the township's pattern of delay and lack of good faith participation, including the cancellation of the first commission meeting that had previously been agreed upon. The township supervisor's latter public refusal to appoint a third member and statements from township officials indicating an unwillingness to participate in commission meetings. Since the resolution to form the commission was approved, this lack of action has already cost nearly 2 months of planning time. Even if the commission were to begin meeting now, the statutory timeline under MCL 74.18A has continued to run, creating a time constraint that is not fair to residents if the goal is to prepare a thoughtful and well-developed plan for consideration by both the village council and township board. Based on the township actions to date, it is my opinion that the township supervisor has not fulfilled his statutory responsibility to appoint the final member to the commission, which has prevented the commission from moving forward as the act requires. I respectfully reject any suggestion that I should resign or be replaced because I raise these concerns. At this time, I would encourage the village council to have an open discussion at its April 6, 2026 meeting and to consider the views of the other 2 village-appointed commission members regarding how best to proceed. While I remain willing to serve professionally, respectfully, and in good faith, I do not want my continued appointment to be used as a reason for further delay. If the council, in its judgment, believes that my stepping aside would genuinely allow the process to move forward, I would be willing to do so for that limited purpose. I'm not suggesting by this letter that the council should reverse its prior resolution. However, given the delays that have occurred, the time already lost under the act, and the township's continued failure to carry out its role, I believe it would be appropriate for the council to consider all available options moving forward, whether maintaining that resolution continues to serve the village's best interest. If the council chooses to consider that option, I would respectfully encourage that any such action be undertaken with the guidance of the village attorney. I am sending this correspondence individually to each council member. I respectfully ask that you please do not reply directly by email. If the council wishes to address or discuss this letter, I would welcome that discussion. Thank you again for your support and for allowing me the opportunity to respond and to share my perspective. Respectfully, Brad Mattner. I am also in support of this letter that he had written and just the way that this has all gone about in the last 2 months. And it's taken a lot of time and energy, and there's been a lot of things happening. If you are on one of the 4 pages of Facebook in Baroda, and I think that it was very unprofessional of the township to come to us saying that they would play the game if we got rid of one of the players. And so I'm not in support of taking Brad off the commission. I know that there's been some discussion, and there was something that was written here for us by the clerk, but I didn't know if there's anybody else that wanted to state anything.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I support Brad Mattner, and in my opinion, he, out of all 5 people between the village and the township, those 5 people, he is the most qualified. He's loved and respected in the community. He's a planning commission chairperson, zoning guy, coding, I believe, a reserve police officer. And I just feel like out of all 5 of us, he is the most valuable person that has the resources and the knowledge to give the voters the information that they need to make the right vote. And that's all I wanted to say.
If I can, I've spent a lot of time considering where we're at and what our potential path forward might be. So I broke my Facebook absence because I heard that there's a really good Baroda community voice page out there, and I showed my face on it, and there is some quality stuff there. Thank you, Lisa. So among those is this village disincorporation flow chart, which I have given to each of the trustees, and the little numbers I put there is my beloved statute number. So each one of these little decision blocks comes from the statute. So it starts off, basically a petition is submitted to the township clerk. She has to determine are the signatures valid. She said they are. Is the petition sufficient? Enough people? She said yes, they are. The petition is then certified, sent to the village council. Does the village council form a disincorporation commission? That was the decision we made at our February 2nd meeting. We've passed not a resolution, but a ordinance to move into this other portion of the law that allows us, that directs that we form a joint commission, disincorporation commission with the township, 3 members of the township, 3 members of the village. So at that point, the village appointed our 3 commissioners, the township appointed 3 commissioners, one of whom, it's my understanding, promptly resigned. From that point, the next point in the flow chart is, if we would have voted, let me turn back to the prior decision point, does the village council form a disincorporation commission? We could have said no disincorporation commission. At that point, it would go on the ballot immediately, and it would take a 2/3 vote of the village voters saying, yes, we want to disincorporate the village, and the village would be disincorporated without any plan, and it would just land in the township's lap, and they would have to figure it out. So back into the path that we are in. So 3 village appointed commissioners. The township presently has 2 commissioners that have been appointed, but none of whom have been sworn in at this point because we haven't been able to get a quorum. The village is in charge of directing and funding this entire process. So we call the meeting, and then we swear in the members. The village clerk is the secretary of those meetings. So it's largely the village's burden to make it all happen. Thank you. So the commission puts together plans, very specific in the statute, all of the things it has to do, figuring out our debts and our assets and liabilities and how those are going to be figured out, and are we still going to have streetlights, and if so, who's going to pay for them, and what about our zoning, and help me some of the other practical things that, are we still going to pick up yard waste? And if we are, who's going to pay for it?
Snow removal.
And snow removal, thank you. So all these things were to be figured out in this plan. Once the disincorporation commission gets together on the plan, to approve that plan takes 2 of the 3 township members and 2 of the 3 village members to vote, yes, this is our plan. With the current status of where we're at, I personally find it extraordinarily unlikely that we could get that vote. Okay, so that's trip point number 1. After we spent all this money, we've hired a attorney to be the disincorporation commission attorney. We've hired consultants to help develop the plan. We've done all this research, and we spent, I would estimate, tens of thousands of dollars to do all this. And then we have to get a vote, 2/3 township, 2/3 village, 2 of the 3 township members, 2 of the 3 village members to say yes, to even have a plan to come out of the disincorporation commission. If they were able to accomplish that, then it comes to this full board, and I believe it's a majority vote of our board to accept that plan and a majority of the township board to accept that plan. I don't know if those majorities would exist. If there's a plan that could be put together that would be acceptable to both units of government. I say all this, not to waste your time, but I think that it's extraordinarily unlikely that we could accomplish, that we could get this to this point at which the plan now goes to the voters of the township and the voters of the voters of the village is one group, requires 50% of the village voters, and it requires 50% vote of the township voters minus those within the village, is how the wording is. Everybody gets to vote, great democracy, I love it. However, I don't think we ever get to that point, because if this plan doesn't make all those votes along the way, we have no plan, and in that case, it goes back to only the village residents vote on this, and it takes a 2/3 vote of the village residents to disincorporate the village. So at that point, if any of those hurdles cannot be overcome, it's as if we never had a disincorporation commission. In light of that, if you'll bear with me for a second, can we pass that down to Mark, please? I didn't get him one. I should have plenty to get to the end of each of the rows. If you'd be willing to take one and pass them down. Thanks, sir. So I put together a couple facts, and I just gave away my last copy. How about that? Did you see that? We can share.
Yes.
Some of the significant, in my opinion, issues that we have here. The village has appointed our three. Thank you. We've appointed our 3 Disincorporation Commission members at our February 12th meeting, village meeting. Said that we have scheduled 2 Disincorporation Commission meetings, both of which had to be canceled because the township didn't have 3 members to attend those meetings. The township supervisor has stated he will not work with any of the village appointees, and yes, that is correct wording per the minutes of the meeting. Once we saw the minutes, I went back and listened to the recording of the meeting, and he did in fact say, not that I can't work with a person, he said, I will not work with any of the village appointees to the Disincorporation Commission. So even if we were to get rid of Brad Mattner, who's next? The township supervisor also stated he does not intend to appoint a 3rd member to the Disincorporation Commission at this time, was his words. As of today, they still haven't. He's been true to his word. Over 2 months has now passed, and to me, I don't know what they had, 9 months maybe, 10 months to get this plan together, disincorporation plan. It's a pretty aggressive time frame. Whatever that time is minus 2 months is getting really tight. So even if everybody started playing well together tomorrow, we got a lot of work to do in a little small amount of time, possibly for nothing. So my suggestion is, at this point, we decided to go down this alternate path of forming a Disincorporation Commission by forming an ordinance, passing an ordinance to do so. Resolution? Okay. Thank you. I'm told it's a resolution. I will need to check that. Okay. Resolution to proceed is the title of it. So whether it's a resolution or an ordinance, so we did have something written by our attorney titled Resolution to Proceed. And that we can't just vote to undo that, to vote to rescind it. We probably need to pass another ordinance or resolution, like an equal document, to undo what we've done. And I just came to this realization within the last 2 days through discussion with a trusted advisor. So didn't have time to, and our attorney was on vacation last week, so we didn't have time to get this all put together. Essentially, what I'm bringing to you all tonight is the request that we ask our attorney to tell us exactly how to proceed. We know that she told us that rescinding that action was a path that we could take forward. I'm suggesting that we decide tonight, is that the path that we all want to take? And if so, ask our attorney to exactly lay out that path, write the documents for us so that we can approve them at a future time.
Can we hold that thought for a minute? Cause didn't we at the last meeting also ask the attorney to look over everything? Has she gotten back with you on that?
Nope, I haven't heard anything.
Has she been looking over?
I don't know. Like I said, she's been gone on vacation.
Cause I think that would be.
I did spend the weekend trying to read up on other villages that went through this, and I only came across one that voted to create the commission. And I think the township voted to agree to it, the village disagreed with it, so then it went back to the.
Was it Sand Lake?
No, it was some goofy noise.
Started with an F.
No, it started with an O.
No, like,
Yeah, not something.
Otsego or, no?
Armstrong Township.
On Onikama?
That sounds right.
Lessons learned from the proposed merger of Onikama Village with Onikama Township?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Never heard of it. So, anyway, sorry. So my motion is, Katie, I have thoughts on that, and I'm not sure that I want to say it out loud.
Well, and also, like we said, we're already kind of running out of time, so depending on how long
Yeah.
it's gonna drag out, we're just gonna keep running out of time, like, it's just gonna keep going. And it's
Yeah,
like,
I would-
Can we get it?
It's two
Thicker?
separate issues.
I'd
If-
like to share a perspective with you on that
Yeah.
individually.
It's two separate issues. One, if the attorney finds that the petition is not valid, it doesn't even go to vote. It's done.
Yeah.
If,
Okay, I'll say it out
if it's
loud.
not accurate, and then, but if you know, like, you vote to rescind the commission or whatever, then it still goes to vote, or we just stop the commission work. Well, we haven't had any commission work, but I think it's two separate points.
I will say it out loud. If the village attorney says, no, this petition's faulty, it's not a valid petition, there's nowhere in the act that says the village attorney gets to decide if it's a valid or not. So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna sue? Do we think that the person who originally said this is a valid petition is gonna go, oh, well, since your attorney says it's not valid, I agree it's not valid? Or is it more likely than go, I say it is?
Well, could we hire a third party for like a separate attorney to look it over and motion that?
Yeah, but we're
And-
still in the same boat that he's
Right.
saying, so it'd still be like, we have one who's saying it is, and if I'm not saying anybody did say, but if we did say something
Right.
that it's not, you know, then what do you do? We're still kind of stuck in the,
Right.
where we're at.
Why don't we have the attorney go through with this after she's finished with our last request?
Well, how long is that
So-
gonna take?
Yeah.
Well, that's, being she's back, we'll send her this and say, what can you get?
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering how many hours she's spending on this determination that, once again, we're paying, every hour she looks at this, we're paying for it. And it could be a parallel action still, because maybe it would never go to a vote. So there's an awful lot of new faces out here, and I love you all being here. I don't hear a lot of cheerleaders for, we need to get rid of this village. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'm also not foolish enough to just think that because there's 6 really loud people in a room, that's how the 600 people in the community feel. So, I mean, we have to consider that. Just because maybe the most people who are talking in our ear are really upset about this whole thing and wish it was not happening, there might be a whole lot of people out there just waiting to cast their vote to disincorporate the village. But it's also our I'm not going to ask you to vote here. If for those who do not think the disincorporation of the village is in the best interest of those in the village, it's our responsibility to come up with all these things, like I was saying, what happens to zoning? We're still gonna have zoned areas. You're not gonna be able to just say, woohoo, I'm no longer in the village, so I can go shooting in my backyard now. I can have chickens or goats or cattle in my, because you're still gonna be zoned in however it's categorized. Like I said, streetlights, those have to be paid for or turned off. Everybody likes have their leaves picked up and their yard waste picked up. If we want that, that's gonna be a special assessment. So all these village amenities that cost money are still gonna cost us money. Not to mention the infrastructure, things like crumbling roads that we have been advised are likely to not be accepted by the county until they are brought up to standards. Who pays for that? The village residents. So that goes into our liabilities, or out of our bucket of cash that could offset our liabilities otherwise. So there's a lot of risk here. And by the way, I'm a small government person. I seriously considered signing the petition when it was brought before me. So I looked into a little bit more and I got a little more concerned, and I thought I didn't want to. But I would love to not have a village financial audit this year for the price we paid for it. And I would love to not be writing a paycheck to all of us up here and the planning commission. And so, yeah, I'm a small government person, and if I could figure out a way to save some money, I would. And I just don't believe that this gets us there. With that in mind, I make a motion that the Baroda Village Council request the village attorney to direct the course of action needed to rescind ordinance 2026-01 titled Resolution to Proceed, which specifies the Village of Baroda elects to proceed under sections 23 to 23I of the General Law Village Act, including but not limited to the composition of a disincorporation commission. That's all like a line out of the ordinance or the resolution that we passed. Further, still reading, this course of action should include the course of action that the attorney puts together for us. This course of action should include the recommended text of the motion to rescind or resolution to rescind. This response shall be communicated to the full village council as soon as reasonably practicable. And that is my motion. Actually, the way Robert's rules works is it needs a second before you can even discuss it, actually.
I'll support it.
Now you can have a discussion.
No, I think that Bob really brings up some valid points. Nikki and I are both on the commission, and I think that what Bob speaks to is true. I think where I struggle is when is that the township, village dissolves, the township gets the village. And so I feel like they just don't, their voice, they have to accept whatever we do. Not we, the voters, whatever the voters do. So I struggle with that internally, but I feel like there's a lot of information out there that's not necessarily accurate, and it's being portrayed as accurate, and that's kind of where I'm on the struggle bus a little bit. But I do support what Bob said. I think we will never get to that point of agreement with the township, just because, I mean, Nikki and I could have proposed that we can't get along with Dennis and Christina, but we didn't, you know. I feel like we've been sitting ducks waiting through this whole thing. We didn't ask for it. We didn't ask for the petition. We had to handle it. We were elected or appointed to the committee. We sat and waited, and it's just kind of been a game. And I think it's unfortunate that's the way it's become, especially because it's taxpayers' dollars. And I mean, internally, I really struggle with the whole the whole behavior aspect of it and how things are coming out and how different phrases are used when speaking publicly. But, you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. And I really hope that in the end, I mean, I'll be honest, I want to keep the village. And I don't think that's a problem with me saying that. So, that's all I can say.
My opinion is if we got rid of the resolution, just my opinion, I don't think someone who lives on Snow Road in Baroda Township should be voting to take away my yard waste pickup. So nothing's gonna change for them, the county's still gonna plow the road, but they get to vote to make a decision that affects the village residents. Right, but they don't pay, township residents don't pay village tax. So they don't have the burden of paying that extra tax and getting the services on it, so why are they making the decision to take it away from all of us?
That's what that is supposed to be able to get us all the information for commission. Because I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, somebody shouldn't be voting that my taxes go up. Because I don't get those services. I don't have sewer and water provided by the township. I don't have waste provided by the township. Or by the village, I'm sorry. Like, that's what this commission was supposed to do, is get the information, because I don't feel it's fair as a township resident that somebody can dictate if my taxes go up.
What I've heard, and I'll attempt, is I can only tell you something that's been said by elected officials in the township, is there will be special assessments levied against people who live in the village to pay for the extra services the village gets. So, instead of writing a tax bill to the village, now you'll write a bigger tax bill to the township if you are in the village. If you're in the township and you don't get those services, you don't get snow removal, street lights, and yard waste pickup, then things shouldn't notably change.
We have a motion
Is my
on the
understanding?
table right now, so we'll take audience comments in a little bit.
But yeah, I agree with Bob, and I think if you just did a side-by-side of how your mills have increased in the last couple years, I think if you notice the villages, they've stayed the same, and things have changed. Your taxes aren't being raised necessarily by the village.
They've actually gone down slightly, right?
Right, so I think that we've done our due diligence. I think people need to really pay attention to that kind of, pay attention, come to your meetings, and do some investigating on your own, because it's important. And just because I say it doesn't mean it's true. Just because Katie says it doesn't mean it's true. You have to do your own investigation also. But I think coming to meetings and I think people being involved is really important going forward. And I think your eyes will be opened when you start investigating.
Roll call.
Yeah. Is there any other discussion on it? If not, we'll vote. No? All right, Bob made a motion, everyone can read it, I supported it. Let's do a roll call. Bob?
Yes.
Nikki?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion carried. All right, committees. Finance committee? Anybody got anything? No. Personnel committee. We did a 60-day review for Mark, and I think we all felt he was doing a good job. It was me, Jack, and Bob. So we would like for Mark to hang around for a while.
Yeah.
If that's good with you.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Coming out of that meeting, we talked about salary and agreed that we would like to give Mark a $2 per hour raise. He's being paid way below what, he was hired in way below what, we have historically paid a professional accountant. And based upon his performance, as well as the fact that he's already demonstrated that he no longer needs Heather to come in, he's saving significant money in that regard and showing his worth there. So the only problem is we need to figure out, again, we just passed our budget ordinance resolution, General Appropriations Act, that has the village treasurer's salary on there. So we just need to figure out what exactly we need to do to change our General Appropriations Act, revise that, and at that point then we can adjust the salary as we all vote and agree. But that $2 per hour was our recommendation. Thank you. I feel you're doing a fantastic job, and
Ditto.
We're so grateful, thank you, Mark.
yeah, I feel like you've been really coming up to speed quickly, and you've been very responsive to our requests for, you know, the level of information that we want. And so yeah, like I told you I kind of wrapped it up our meeting with them, that I wish I could give you something to work on that I'd like to see you do differently, but I honestly don't have anything. I haven't heard anything from anybody, so fantastic. Okay. So we have a long history of getting late on doing performance appraisals, performance reviews, and then once we get around to it, then we give a raise retroactive to when the person like reached their 1 year or whatever it was. So that is certainly on the table as well.
All right, also on the personnel committee, I threw in there Gloria's resignation letter.
No, I got it.
You can have this, just your language. She did make an offer to work 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, to fill in if need be, to do payroll and water billing.
I have an applicant, if we're willing to interview her, and we also have Katie as backup, but Erica Burkett, the daughter of Ron Burkett, who's very well respected as the fire chief for many years in Lincoln Township, and she's worked at Dacker's offices for years, has offered to, you know, step in even if it's temporary, and if she likes it, she'd like to stay or at least have an interview, and then Katie could support her. So I think it's worth reaching out for an interview.
I'm trying to remember what we have options available for interim. You can pretty much appoint anybody as interim, can't you?
I don't know. I think so, but I want to double check.
No, we went through this before, and I have all there's like a period of time, for the time being, you can. Find it in my folders here.
Do you think you could figure out payroll on water billing? I know you brought up payroll.
$30 extra an hour. I took one of their webinars on utility billing. It didn't seem that difficult, but having never sat down and doing it, I'd have to look at the webinar again. I've done payroll before in other places I've worked, but I haven't done it on BSNA. You know, I don't think it'd be too hard to figure out, but, I don't know. I'd have to look at, it can't be that difficult.
I think just asking for the interim, and of course it would be approved to work the extra hours, cause obviously it's gonna take a minute to figure it out. But then you also have to deal with, so now there's only one person that can sign checks, right, Michael? Cause Gloria has to be taken off the account.
Well, we talked about that, and they're supposed to be adding me onto the account.
But we still need 2 signatures, so we should be okay there.
Yeah.
Once, if he's all squared away with it.
Right, but we still have to take Gloria off.
Right.
So if you can handle it till we get somebody hired, is that appropriate, an appropriate ask?
Pardon me?
I said, would it be an appropriate ask if we could ask you to do it as an interim? And then we could
Yeah,
also.
all I could do is say, I could try, you know, I'm not gonna guarantee you perfection. It's not gonna have the, well, I almost guarantee the perfection with the accounting, because I have so much experience. I've never done utility billing, it didn't look that hard from the webinar, and I know the basics, how it works. I've done payroll before, I just have never done it with BSNA.
Katie, have you helped with, are you familiar with it at all?
Can't Gloria come in and teach you?
Well, she did offer that she could come in for 4 hours a day, 4 days a week.
I've offered to come in and like help with water and sewer, but.
I'm sure BSNA, let me check tomorrow, I'm sure they have a webinar out there on payroll too, that they have webinars for everything else out there.
We have 2 audience comments.
It's not a comment. I do water billing at the city of BSNA. I have a manual I created. I'm happy to share with you.
Pardon me?
I have a manual that I created. I do water billing at the city of Bridgman. It's BSNA. I'm happy to share it with you.
If it hasn't been deleted, there should be one on the clerk's computer.
You have the net version?
Some mixed up.
We do our readings with a interrogator. I know you guys use an iPad, so that's a little iffy on how to do that.
No, there's 2 versions of BSNA.
The .NET and the.
The .NET and the web version.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
have
well,
to check.
Can we throw this
Yeah,
back to the
anything
personnel
that-
committee to figure out the plan of action?
Well, I guess, do we want to approve Gloria to work the 4 hours a day?
No.
Alright, well then I'll make a motion to accept her resignation letter.
Second.
Did Bob support that?
Yes.
Alright, I made a motion to accept Gloria's resignation letter supported by Bob, and it was dated April 6, 2026. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Is that effective immediately or what?
Yes.
That's what she said.
Her resignation says effective immediately as of April 6th, so we're accepting that.
Alright, personnel committee, I think we got everything there. I guess we'll post the job and whatever that happens.
So can I ask you guys recommended when we did Mark's review to give him a raise or we, do you wanna make a motion for it or are we not going to do that?
We'll
yet?
figure out what to do with that resolution.
And the personnel committee?
Change.
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
Michael, to check with the attorney what exactly we have to do to change our,
General Appropriation Act,
yeah,
thank you.
so that we can,
Okay.
so that we can do that, and then we can take action on it. Should
Alright,
that
planning
be on the
commission,
next meeting?
do you have anything? Or is
No,
Donna
but
starting?
Donna, yeah, she covered it all.
Policy and procedure committee, anybody got anything? Council member comments? Bob, you got anything?
I was really impressed that we had one DPW guy, available on Friday, and he said, I don't want people to have, yard waste, in their yards, brush in their yards over Easter weekend. So I'll go pick it up myself, even though it's not easy to do with one person. And, that was approved, appreciated, sorry.
Who was that again?
That was Tony. In our General Appropriations Act, it said something that caught my eye. Excuse me. Under Section 5, Payment of Bills, all claims, bills against the village shall be approved by the Village of Baroda Council prior to being paid. Then it goes on to say the village clerk and treasurer may pay certain bills prior to approval by the board to avoid late penalties, service charges, and interest, primarily utilities and payroll. As long as I've been on the board, so that once I looked at that again, that kind of really jumped out at me, because as long as I've been on the board, we get a list of all the checks that were written last month, not the bills that are due for checks to be written. Can anybody give me any insight on that?
Go ahead.
Okay. The checks are written, but they're not necessarily released.
Okay, so the duplicate or potentially duplicate check to the attorney is still in the office?
Probably, yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
See, that once you approve the check register, then they're mailed out.
Okay, if that's a great answer.
That's great.
If that's in fact the case, we've gone, the pendulum has swung back and forth over the years I've been here on the level of information that we have. When the credit cards came, that really gives a lot of vagueness, because you can put anything on a credit card, and anybody can put anything on a credit card, and even if you get the credit card statement, it says Amazon. Well, last I checked, you can buy a lot of different things on Amazon. So I'm not sure what the answer is here.
Expense reports.
We went through a time where we got every single receipt from the hardware store, and they bought 3 nuts and bolts and 2 fuses and 6 rubber bands, and that was kind of painful, but it kind of, in my position was, I'm not going to vote to pay this if I don't know what I'm voting to pay for, and so I actually looked at that stuff, and it was painful. I'm not sure where the pendulum is. It seems like the pendulum swung totally back to, we have very little idea what we're voting for here. We're voting to pay the attorney thousands of dollars, but we have no idea if that's associated with the district corporation, or if it's associated with the budget, or a little of both, or someone has sexual harassment charges against them, and just throwing crazy things out of left field, by the way. So, what I'm saying, we just don't know what we're voting to pay, what bills we're voting to pay. And somehow we need to find what the happy medium is, so we're not killing ourselves, every one of us looking for 3 hours every month at all the things, but at least a good, honest spot check or a little level of detail. So, Mark, I hope you're right that is the case, because that is what we say we do. That those.
The only alternative to that, would be to, like with the check register, attach all the invoices to the check register, and then you could look at all the invoices that the check register represents. But my only issue with giving you invoices ahead of time for you to approve, I'm not saying everybody is as timely as you, so it would delay processing and cut back. But if the invoices came in, they were put into accounts payable, it's not like the checks are cut, weeks ago and then mailed out, you guys approved, I I believe the check register in here is, when's it dated?
Are you going to the attorney minister?
Yeah. Well, now I'm gonna take that back because I don't think she held the checks from 3/9. So, that's what she said, but I don't, although I see some utility bills in there and stuff like that.
Okay.
Stuff that has to be paid.
And I think that's normal. I think the question that we're asking is for maybe perhaps a credit card report.
What they used to do is have a manila envelope or folder, and all the bills were in that, and everyone looked through them to see if they caught anything. That's what they used to do on the board?
Yeah, we used to pass that around,
Yep.
and during the meeting, you'd flip through it and,
Yep.
and pass it. I would come and sit in the office for an hour and actually look at those things. I suppose that's still in there if I was motivated enough to do it.
I don't
Just on a
think
spot
that's
check
the right
basis.
answer. I do believe that on the credit card though, they need to turn in receipts for every charge.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't know if
Could
they
I
are, but
provide
they
an
need
answer
to.
for you, Ms. Akron, possibly to save you some time? When we get the bills, we scan them into BSNA, we write the check. The check goes out. The only bills that we hold for you guys to approve are ones that are over a certain dollar amount, or that are not the normal monthly bills, so the AP bills, things like that. We held the credit card payments and the unusual bills, so everything that was a normal monthly expense, we paid. And then at the end of the month, when Amber and I were doing it, we scanned them, we have to scan them into BSNA, so we saved them, and we sent them as an attachment to all of the board members, so that they would have access to it, and we attached every single credit card receipt, and we listed out every single number to associate what it was assigned to and where it was going, and when you pay the bill, you also have to do that in the system.
That's
To kinda help
actually,
you.
some of the points she made are not so bad. Other cities and governmental entities I worked with, there was a limit or whatever, a dollar amount. They only wanted to see the invoices like over $1,000 or over $5,000 or whatever like that. You know, the normal was just sent out.
Okay, so yeah, we don't have to solve it. If you have thoughts on this.
Well, you're gonna need somebody to do AP too now.
Write checks to EEP?
No.
Accounts
Accounts
payable.
awarded to
Accounts
the
payable.
accounts payable
Oh,
too.
thank you.
So,
Yeah, we need to get the position filled quickly.
I'll figure that out too.
Even if only on an interim
Yeah,
basis, we do need
figure out a
that.
good,
You need
good way to do it. So you can't make it $3, one, $2?
Well, maybe we'll see how you do.
Once again, thank you all for being here tonight, another long meeting, and I thank you for that, and don't forget, the clock is ticking, the calendar's turning on your opportunity to turn in your petition to be one of the elected officials for your village. Thank you, that's all I have.
We're not done for the night.
You have anything?
No, we're gonna finish up with our council comments, then we'll have audience comments.
Did you have anything, Nikki?
I don't, like I said, right now. Just thank you to the board and thank you to Mark for all his hard work. And thank you for Brad Mattner, he spent a lot of time like researching and getting information for the residents.
Got anything, Julie?
No.
How about you, Katie?
No.
Steve?
I'd just like to say that I appreciate once again the patience of our appointed commission, the 3 people we appointed. Guys, it's gotta be tough, it's gotta be so tough. I appreciate it.
Anything, Jack?
We got a great opportunity with some great people that I'm very proud to be part of this commission. Council, village.
I do have one comment. I just wanna let you know that Michigan's losing.
Boom.
Are you serious?
No, they're not anymore. 99-25. It's still early.
I knew I should have brought her. All right, audience comments? Let's start over here.
I just wanted to read something real quick. First off, I want to thank the social district presentation. These guys, I worked with two of them in Bridgman, and you guys did great tonight. I appreciate all the information. And then I want to thank the village board for doing everything possible to form a commission that would gather and present information to voters, allowing them to make an informed decision when the time comes to vote on such an important issue. I am saddened that the two selected Township Disincorporation Commission members were unable to put the residents of Baroda ahead of personal differences, preventing the process from moving forward. We must remember that we have the right to request information through FOIA and to question our elected officials. This is not good theater. It is our right to expect transparency and truth. At the same time, township officials are asking voters to approve an additional police millage on the May ballot and likely another millage in the future for a new fire department, both of which will increase taxes. While they are willing to ask residents of Baroda for more financial support, they have not demonstrated the same willingness to set aside differences and work collaboratively on a plan that would allow voters to make a fully informed decision. Once again, I want to thank the village board for asking the hard questions, for seeking the information we deserve, and for putting the residents first.
Go ahead.
So just a comment that kind of ties into that, and to Gloria, kind of a question. I did submit a FOIA last week, and I was given an extension through April 15th, so just something maybe to follow up on since Gloria is no longer here.
Yeah, that's gonna be a mess. I was thinking about that today.
What are we waiting on?
I'll have to find that one out. I know she emailed the attorney something about it, that's all I know.
I'm assuming it's the attorney emails that I've requested. In the back.
Yep. First of all, I'd just like to say that I'm very ashamed to be a township member with two of our council members. I'm very ashamed of what they've done. Please keep in mind that it's not all of the township council that agrees with Christina and Dennis. And personally, I'm ashamed of them. Also, on a totally different note, we had to have the petition registered with Berrien County. Could Berrien County verify whether it's legit or not?
It doesn't get registered with the county.
Well, then.
It gets validated here, and they hang on to it here. And am I correct, Bill? It does not get validated.
I thought it had to go, I thought Christina sent it to Berrien County for something or other.
I think it gets filed.
It was validated here. I'm just gonna say what I think in the end, which is that's not a route for invalidating the petition. That's just the bottom line, you know, so.
No, that's not what we're talking about. I'm just answering her question that it doesn't.
I don't
They
know
don't
the
have-
technicality of it. I don't think it matters. That's kind of where I'm at, you know. I hear a technical question. I don't know the answer. The county received the petition. They did whatever they had to do. I'm not familiar with the details, but you know, and I just don't think that's a route. I kind of agree. I don't want to go where I want to go. But, you know, I like the reasoning in this meeting. I just want to compliment the village. I just see a growth in the village and the way you're talking and governing that really is impressive. That's kind of my impression from being here for, you know, listening to these meetings more closely for several months. So thank you for that. Now, I haven't answered your question, but I think the end result is the same. I'm just being practical about it, you know?
Any more comments?
Go ahead. Doreen. Doreen, have her hand up first.
I got some easy ones for you, Michael. How come you guys didn't get lines for flowers?
We asked, they didn't wanna do it. We went to, Heartlines and Barbett's. And then they sent us to someplace in Niles, I don't know.
So if you plant these trees uptown again, are we gonna run into the same issue we did with eating up the electric and the water? I mean,
Probably already ate up down there.
but we paid so much to get some of that stuff fixed. So are we gonna talk to a real live nursery dude that knows that these roots don't go down very long? That, you know, like we talked about, maybe a small ornamental tree or something?
Well, I got a feeling trees aren't gonna fit back in there, but we'll have to see if they're all rotten.
I mean, cause if it's gonna cost us a buttload of money again to get everything fixed again, is it a wise idea to replant the trees? I know the community wants that, I get it, but in the long run, I mean, can't we do something else? Like, we talked about maybe some planters there, but nobody liked that idea.
I think you could probably talk to an arborist.
I'm all for artificial, I bring up artificial time and time again.
You can put
Big
containers in the
palm
ground.
trees, yes, exactly.
You can do containers, splash plants in containers.
And then, has anybody looked at, I haven't been down to the park since I've been out of town all month. Did anybody take a look at that basketball court fence again?
Yeah, one side's fixed, we gotta do the other side.
Okay, super.
The bad side's fixed.
Alright, can we start a fund somehow for the park to start addressing the tennis court? If they say it's not gonna be fixable here in the next 5 years?
Like saving up a bunch of money?
Uh-huh, that's it.
Yeah, we need to look into that.
And then when the CGA helps us write grants, maybe we can start getting park
I
grants.
think they told me to start budgeting, I think he said 200,000, or it was either 200 or 180,000 for a replacement.
A year?
No, for the.
Oh, for the whole.
Yeah, to replace the entire tennis court.
Okay,
But he said that was a high estimate.
Okay,
He said
cool.
You should probably budget for that.
alright. That's all I've got.
Any other audience comments? Go ahead.
I will use my 3 minutes wisely. First, has there been anything addressed with the handicap spaces since we've got art coming in and doing all these things? Are they gonna take care of our handicap spots that we
Yeah,
have
we
to pay
looked
for?
into that, we've been figuring that out, so we got a plan.
And then my next list, I'm gonna go as quickly as I can, but try to give you as much information as you can. The report for the water bill is ran every month. Tony and the clerk used to go through it every month. They highlight the bill, the ones that are past due. They send out past due notices. There is specifically a policy on it. When it comes to payroll, there's 2 signatures required for a reason. The fact that there is not an answer to why Tony got paid or what he got paid, when 2 people have to review those reports and sign those checks, is completely uncalled for. Because they're presenting it to you, board members, and just expecting you to say, yes, you're gonna do this. Yes, I'm gonna pay this payroll, yes, I'm gonna pay these bills. If there's nothing to back it up and they're not giving you the information, you have every right to vote no. And it's very important that those things are being checked and balances, because it's very easy to make errors or pay somebody something they shouldn't. The water and sewer has always been done as an invoice to allocate it to the correct funding. So as you go into setting it up to where Michael is an employee and Anthony is an employee, you wanna make sure that you're looking into the fact that they're getting paid properly, and if they're going to get taxed off of it or not, because there are laws and payroll that have to do with that. So those are things that were not in that agreement that we're talking about, but just as board members, you might wanna look into it. Craig from Heartline, if you want to do flowers, you have to let them know in December, because they start planting in January. It's something we talk about every single year. Those of you that are new, you don't know that, but as you go forward, he needs to know by December, because he plants in January. If he would have known, I can promise you, he would have done what he's done in the past, he would have done it, and he charges very minimal, if anything at all. For the ordinances, we actually pay a firm every single year. It's a yearly subscription. We have a liaison. They review our ordinances. So when everybody puts one together, the clerk submits it through to the liaison, they review it. And then once that's all done, that's when it goes to the attorney to be technical through the guidelines from clerking. The personnel committee, you guys had talked about a closed meeting. I know from experience, the personnel committee has to have conversation, before anything can be done, and it is 100% the employee that has to ask for a closed meeting. I had a whole list, but basically, we're in a mess in the village, which not only affects the village residents, it affects us as township residents. I have a house in both, and there's a lot of uncertainty. The village business owners are uncertain. We have a missing clerk. This is a very particular position that needs to be filled like sooner rather than later. There's training manuals. They were saved up in the clerk's computer, they were printed, they were laminated, they were all of the things. Step-by-step instructions, how to do water billing, how to ensure that you don't get a water bill that doesn't have your usage on it. Or you get a water bill that says that you owe $300, but you didn't get one the last 3 months. And when you have informed delivery, you know if it came in your mail or not. So there's just a lot of things that I've watched both as a township and a village resident when it comes to what's been going on with the finances. I strongly suggest somebody checks those finances and checks what you guys have been agreeing to pay. Because there's every meeting that I've came to, you've gotten a list and you've had to say yes or no. And as elected officials, I personally won't want to be in that situation. So you have the right to ask for anything you want. It's fine.
Next audience comment? Go ahead.
As a village resident, I would just like to register concern regarding a particular village employee. It relates to that employee stating to my spouse that they would be coming to our home, to our property to inspect our pool and plumbing. And I have a very serious concern about that employee going on people's properties, so I want to register that as a concern.
Yeah, that was a new regulation from the state we gotta look into. They're making us do cross-connection inspections at every house and every business.
And that's fine, but there's a particular employee that you all know who I.
Yeah, when we go to do that, we'll get all the state laws and whatever. That we-
Yeah, but I don't think she's saying
Well-
it's the law, I think she's saying it's, are you, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Not an issue with the inspection, it's an
The person,
Nothing to do with the inspection.
it's the person inspecting.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I have a problem,
So,
no, I have a problem with the inspection because he flat out told me, well, your pool's tied to the house. The pool's not tied to the house. So I have concerns on just how much he does know. I mean, is he the best fit for us, I guess is what I'm saying. Because the only way that pool ever gets connected to the house is if I take a garden hose and drop it inside the pool and fill it.
Yeah, that's what the state's making everybody inspect is garden hoses. You have to have a vacuum release on your garden hose on every single house now.
They have to have a what now?
So like if you throw your garden hose in the pool and then there's a big fire that breaks out and the fire department hooks up the fire hydrants, they could suck your pool water into the water system and pollute everybody's water. So that's what the state's making everybody inspect.
Well, thank you for that clarification.
No problem. Any other audience comments? Go ahead, Bill. Bob.
I appreciate you guys trying to explain things for us. It's been very confusing, maybe because I'm an old guy, I'm trying to understand all of this that's been happening, and I understand it is, if someone gathered, had the right signatures, if that's not the thing, I just figured, okay, well then, if the signatures were validated, put it on ballot and vote. I think what's gotten so much more complicated is I didn't know all this commissions being formed and groups here and there. And the attorneys like it, because they're gonna make a lot of money off our conflicts. They are, and so if there are legitimate things on that, yeah, get it on the ballot, vote on it, but that's all.
Go ahead.
I've been involved in operating equipment and an estimating company and managing jobs. You start outsourcing things. First, you have no control when it's getting done, like plowing your roads. Number two, you don't have no control of cost other than sourcing somebody else out. So every year you got a new contract. So, and then you start levying people in the village. I'm in the township. I haven't got to pay for your snow plowing. I already paid for mine. Okay?
And we're 3 days out typically. You all in the village are gonna
Yeah.
become a subdivision, and guess when you're gonna get your roads plowed?
Oh, we already know.
It isn't gonna be like it is now. I mean, Miller
And
Road's
two,
2
who's gonna
to
plow
3
parking
days.
spots? We manage a business in town. Are we gonna be on the hook to plow more?
Yeah.
So how are we gonna plow the angle things in front of our, but we're just gonna go to the hair salon and leave a pile of snow and let the hair salon take it to the barber shop, you know, how's that, where's it gonna go? Who's gonna take it where, you know? There is so much, and you got 2 months to get it on November ballot, if that's the goal. You gotta have it to the clerk in July. And I think you guys got probably 12 months to talk about things, to come up with a solid, rock solid plan.
Right.
And I think you're spot on this walk away from it before you spend $200,000 and end up with nothing.
Yeah, cause we don't wanna see the village spend any unnecessary money, just like we don't wanna see us township members spending any unnecessary money.
Well, it was unfortunate that when the petition went around, they were told, you know, the county's gonna take your roads and your taxes are going down. And hey, people sign and then they go, what are you talking about? They're not, they're our roads, no?
Any other audience comments? Meeting's adjourned.
Where's the
Come here, everybody.